What would you do with a drunken podcast? What would you do with a drunken podcast? What would you do with a drunken podcast early in the morning? Gonna talk about hockey and stuff. Gonna talk about hockey and stuff. Gonna talk about hockey and stuff on the Buzzpucks podcast. Welcome to Buzzpucks.
Started great, ended great. Middle was a little...
You know what, man? I thought of this 5 minutes ago.
I know you did. But we are going to get drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm Clay.
And I'm Bert.
And that's what we do here.
And that's what we do here. Sometimes more drunk than others, like the preview episodes of this season when by the fourth one, I was going to vomit. So, hey, welcome.
And also this one because what Bert got this
yeah,
week,
what are we drinking?
It's Founders.
I didn't realize how strong these are.
Out of Colorado. I know that. They're not Colorado?
Founders? I think it's Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. That's my fault. I knew they were.
Yeah, that's why I picked them.
Middle of
it's
the
kind of
country.
near Detroit.
Founders, and this is the Backwoods Bastard, which is stout aged in oak barrels. So it's 11%.
Yeah. I glossed over the 11% part. I saw the name and I was like, oh, Founders.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that expensive. And I was like, sick. And here we are.
It's yummy.
It's good, yeah. You can taste the bourbon in there.
Oh, it's so good.
So I hope you guys had a good week. This one might be a little longer because it's just a reminder we're recovering both Saturday and Sunday of last week too because we had to record a little early. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, never mind.
You sure?
Yes,
Cool.
because I don't think there's any conflicts with next week. Because
No,
you will
we
be
should be
back
good.
by Monday, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be good.
Clay's going out of town again.
Yep.
But just for the weekend.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we're gonna start off with Clay this week.
Yes,
no
we are.
trades this week because the trade deadline's over.
I mean, there were some trades, but they were
Well,
all they're minor
really
league,
count,
so they don't
and
count.
they can't play anyway.
No.
Yeah, that's a fun fact. I think a lot of people don't think is true. Is that the teams can still trade after the trade deadline? Those guys just can't play. Well, they can't play in the playoffs. I don't think they can play they can't play in the NHL,
No.
and they definitely cannot play in the playoffs.
Correct.
So it's mostly minor league trades, but any minor leaguers that were traded cannot be called up to play in the playoffs.
And I believe the AHL playoffs are starting soon.
They start a little earlier than the NHL playoffs.
Oh, I might be thinking just because the
Maybe.
Chicago Wolves had their goalie called up.
Yeah.
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 So they were worried about that coming playoff times.
Yeah. All right. Well, start us off, Clay.
All right, I'm starting you off in the Pacific with the Anaheim Ducks. Forgot where I was going.
They are in the Pacific.
They are. They played 4 games this week. All of their games got played last week while we recorded. So 4 games. Tuesday they played Seattle. Wednesday they played Vancouver. And I, forgot math. So then they played Calgary, and then they finished the week Sunday against Nashville.
All right.
1-1-2.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they lost to Seattle in regulation. They lost to Vancouver in overtime. They beat Calgary and then lost in overtime.
I
in
will
Nashville.
say a lot of overtime games this past week. A
lot
lot.
of overtime.
Yeah, I
games
think
this past week.
obviously I'm a Penguins fan. They played, I believe, 3 overtime games this week.
Yeah.
Just them.
Yeah.
So, and I have a lot of other teams that played overtime games. It's interesting.
So the Ducks, 22, 35, and 10. They have 54 points. They are no longer last in the division.
Yeah.
They have passed San Jose.
San Jose, yeah, finally. I mean, they've had more wins than San Jose for a while now.
Yes, but now,
I don't
catching
know
up.
why. I keep thinking San Jose is not quite as bad as they are, but they're really bad.
It's 'cause
of Carlson.
Well, it's
he's
'cause
having a very good year. and
their
it's kind of
offensive their offense is putting up
Yeah.
points, but their defense is letting in a lot.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
get to
yeah,
that.
yeah. I just keep forgetting that they're as bad as they are until I look at their record. I'm like, oh,
Yep. So, adjusted, they were 0 for 7. They were -1 for 6 on the
nice.
power play.
Love that.
And then they were 2 for 5 on the penalty kill.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, hey, shout out. They only took 5 penalties in 4 games.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment.
One game they took 0.
That's an
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Comtois had a goal and assist in the Calgary win. And then Mason McTavish made things exciting against Nashville with 2 goals, forcing it to go to overtime.
Yeah.
Cam Fowler is their top player, though, with 5 assists.
Nice.
Yes.
Good old Cam Fowler.
Moving on to Calgary. Played one of their games from the previous week. So 4 games as well, so 5 total. They were 3-2, which is better, but if they're still in that playoff hunt,
Are they still in that playoff?
they're only
hunt?
7 points out of that last playoff spot.
I guess, but the amount of games is steadily getting lower. Everybody's in the teens now of games left, so they got to start making up some ground. They got to have a better record than that over the course of a week.
Because this last game was against, so it started out getting shut out by Minnesota. Then they beat Dallas at Dallas. They played Minnesota again, where they beat them in a shootout. So it was a double.
It was a 1-0 shootout.
Yes, so a double shutout.
Double shutout. Yeah.
Then they lost to Anaheim.
That's
like
I
I
believe
just said.
the third one of those this year.
Yes.
Which is very strange to me that it's happened that many times.
They lost to Anaheim, which I just said, but they outshot Anaheim 37-18 in that loss.
That's always good. That feels good.
Which set a NHL record by a team outshooting the other team by 10 and losing.
Calgary set that record?
With 19 losses this year.
Oh.
19 losses where they outshot the other team by 10.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not
That's really bad.
not good. It's a mix of
That's bad defense plus bad goaltending. That can't be one or the other.
it's a mix of goalies standing on their head against them
Yeah, that
and
too. Yeah.
Markstrom having the worst season of his career.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how that just compounds. In the Minnesota shootout win, they got outshot 40-26. So that was one of the first times that they got blown out of the water shots wise that I'd seen in a while. And then they finished the week by stomping Ottawa in a very much a playoff hopeful game for both teams.
Yeah.
Ottawa's only 6 points out.
I know, but
And they have 3 games in hand on the Islanders.
oh, okay. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I was gonna say I think they have the same amount of games played as Pittsburgh, but I forgot Pittsburgh has overtaken the number 1 wild card.
Yep.
From the Islanders now.
So this wild card is starting to really heat up.
Yeah. It's getting close in the East, at least. For both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say the Penguins have one lockdown at all.
Right.
Really, they could certainly go on a lose. I'm sorry. Go ahead. We'll talk. We can talk about that later.
Markstrom ended up getting. Markstrom played all the games, so he was 3-2.
Yeah.
Lindholm had a goal and assist in the Ottawa win. I don't have a top player for them because they did have 3 guys all have 5 points.
I had a couple teams
It
like
was
that.
it was
Yeah.
Lindholm. It was maybe Backlund. I
just pulling up the
I can't remember
standings.
off the top of my head. And adjusted, their penalty kill was perfect.
Nice.
Richie had a goal.
Ooh.
The traded Richie.
The trade. Which one is that? Nick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Had a goal in the Dallas win. Moving on to Edmonton. 2-2 this week, including the 1 game last week. So they are 36, 23, and 8. I forgot to write down their points and their standings.
That's
They're in
fine.
4th.
I'm actually pulling up the standings.
They started the week by losing to Winnipeg in a very high-scoring game, where 5-7, where Draisaitl had a hat trick, but wasn't enough.
Edmonton has 80 points.
80 points, thank you. Then they beat Buffalo in a very close game, 3-2. McDavid had 2 goals there. They beat Boston. They came from behind to beat Boston in Boston.
Wow.
Scoring,
It's impressive.
I think, if not all 3, then definitely 2 goals in the third period to retake that lead. Skinner is the top player of that game, going 26 for 28. And then they finished by losing kind of embarrassingly to Toronto, where they had like a 3-1 lead. And then they lost 4-7.
Oof. Oof.
Toronto came surging back in the second
It's
period.
kind of a chippy game, too, from what I saw.
Incredibly chippy because John Tavares got fined for slashing.
I saw that highlight. Yeah. That's some bullshit.
Exactly.
It was a very hard slash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with the fine. If he had got... It's just... It goes back to, like, I can't believe that watching that highlight... How did that guy not get called for a fucking penalty? He cross-checked him like 6 times.
Yeah.
He tripped him at one point. And then Tavares, was frustrated, turned around and cracked him across the wrist. But like, hey, guess what wouldn't have happened? That would not have happened if you had called one penalty against that guy. What is a cross-check?
Both fans...
Why did cross-checks never get called?
When both fans are complaining, like, just the reffing's bad in general.
Whoa.
Like, you just didn't have a good game.
No,
They got outshot 38-26 in that game. McDavid had 2 goals and 2 assists. Evan Bouchard is their top player.
Young defenseman.
Not named McDavid.
Just ignore McDavid.
They had equal,
we get it.
They had equal amounts of points.
Basically. McDavid on the decline?
He only had 3 goals, 3 assists.
What a scrub.
He only has 127 points.
What a scrub.
He
only has 120. That's ridiculous.
Draisaitl only has 98. That's the difference between 1 and 2 in points.
And you know what's crazy? They're still only 4th in their division.
Right.
Weird. Huh? It's almost like they should maybe have depth.
Bouchard had a goal and 5 assists.
It's pretty impressive.
8 for 12 on the penalty kill. And adjusted, they were 9 for 12. Well, whatever.
It's not the worst ever, but it's not good.
Nope.
Certainly.
Los Angeles. Played 4 games without Quick. 3-0-1.
Was Quick the problem?
Yes.
Was he, though? Because what's his record with Vegas?
Well, that's a 3-game sample size.
Okay. This is a 4-game sample size.
Yeah, I know. But Quick had 3 games in November when he had like a 9.56 save percentage and went 4-0, and then the rest of the season happened.
Right. I mean, that's like the joke I made a couple weeks ago when the Penguins waived Kasperi Kapanen and he got taken, and then they immediately started playing much better. And it was like, was Kasperi Kapanen the problem? Maybe.
No,
maybe a little bit anyway. Definitely a little bit.
Quick's play in net was the problem. Was he a locker room problem? Of course not.
No.
But
but maybe.
But when you're supporting like a...
Does Drew Doughty hate Jonathan Quick?
When you have a...
Click on this podcast to find out.
839 save percentage.
No, it's not good.
No.
839. Oh my god.
He had the worst worst.
This beer is entirely too easy to drink. I will say that.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
I'm gonna slow down a little bit here.
I'm very much checking myself.
I just realized that. I looked at my beer and it's half gone. I'm like, ooh, I gotta calm down a little bit.
Minimum 20 games played goalie wise. Mm-hmm. He had the worst save percentage out of all the goalies. Not named Spencer Jones.
It's Martin. Spencer Martin.
There it is.
You did that again. You did that last week or the week before,
I do it
too.
Every single time. The guy who got waived by Vancouver.
But he's young, so you could cut him some slack.
That's true, but they sent him away.
No, I get it. But you could look at that kid and be like, oh, okay, he's 22 or whatever. He's young. He's on a really bad team.
Yeah.
He could get cut up some slack.
Right.
Jonathan Quick, you could say kind of the inverse of that and be like, well, he's 35, which honestly for goalies, I guess isn't really that old.
Yeah.
While you have Craig Anderson playing in the league.
Yeah.
You could be like, oh, well, he's on the decline. He's an aging veteran goalie, blah, 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 blah. But, he's only going to get worse.
We'll get to that with Vegas, but he had a good week.
He did, yeah.
He's also like their only goalie. So we'll
That's
get to that
also
with
true.
Vegas.
Yeah, that's also
right.
true.
So we're talking about LA right now. They're 38,
Oh, are we?
20, and 9. They have 88 points. They are second in the division.
Yeah, they're having a good year.
They're having a very good year. They started the week by beating St. Louis. Corpusalo played his first game in a Kings uniform. Got the 24 for 26, was the 9-2-3. They did give up a shorthand goal, but Gabe Velarde had the game-winning goal.
Nice.
They also outshot the Blues 38-26. Then they
Like, that's hard.
right
Blues suck.
Blues suck.
Except for their one line. The Blues suck.
Then they beat Washington at home. Copley beat his old team.
Fire department's coming for us.
Yep. All those fires I started.
Yeah.
Arvidsson had 2 assists. They outshot the Caps 41-22.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Doubled them up, basically. Then they went to Colorado and beat them handedly. Corpusalo in net again. Kopitar had 3 assists in that game. And then they finished the week by losing to Nashville in a shootout.
They did.
2-1 overall.
Nashville weirdly playing, like, a lot better since the trade deadline.
They are playing like they didn't sell.
Like, what are you doing now?
Playing like they didn't sell, and some of their best players aren't hurt. I don't.
Yeah. It's always weird how that happens. Like, oh, this team sold, and now they won 5 games in a row.
Yep. Yesterday I watched like every game. It was a lot of fun. But this wasn't
How
one
nice
of those
for
games.
you.
It was great. Unfortunately, they were 10 for 13 on the penalty kill. It's not bad, but it's not.
No, it's not great.
Right.
Anytime you lit up more than like 1 or 2 power play goals a week, you're like,
right.
Could have done better, you know.
And they were also adjusted 0 for 15 on the power play.
That's really bad. Yeah, that's really, really bad.
Kempe is their top player with 4 goals and 1 assist in those 4 games. Moving on to San Jose. Mentioned it earlier. They bad.
They so bad.
1-4.
Sure, Erik Karlsson's really pumped that he signed there for like 6 more years.
Well, he's their top player this week with 1 goal.
He's their top player this year. He might win the Norris, honestly.
With 1 goal and 5 assists.
Yeah.
But they are 19, 36, and 12. That is 50 points. That's 3 points behind. 4 points behind Anaheim.
They're not the worst team in the league, though. I believe that's
Columbus.
still Columbus, yeah. Columbus has 47 points.
Race to the bottom.
Yeah, at this point.
They started out their week by getting blown out by Washington 3-8, which I believe they were up 3-0.
Ooh, I don't remember.
They might have been 2-0. Either way.
I'll look.
3-8. Then they went and beat Winnipeg in overtime.
Why? At this point, just lose every game.
Then they got shut out 6-0 by Colorado. This is the only game where they played both goalies.
Yeah.
Everyone else
They got annihilated by Colorado. It was 6-0, right?
6-0.
Yeah.
Kokkinen let in 5 of those goals, and Reimer only let in 1.
Good job, Reimer.
Reimer was 18 for 19. He did his job. They got outshot 43-13.
They were up 2-0 in the game.
2-0. That's my mistake.
No, I didn't write it down.
They got outshot 43-13.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
And then they lost to St. Louis 2-4.
Honestly, when that happens, because it's happened a lot this year where bad teams have gotten outshot or just teams have gotten outshot that bad and then won. That's happened a lot this year.
At least 19 times for
Calgary.
For Calgary.
But there's been I think I have a couple of games where one team got outshot by quite a large margin and scored 5 goals in that game.
That might have been the Florida game. Why do I feel
Maybe.
like Florida lost?
There's
the
at
game where they
least
doubled
one
them up?
game where
And they finished their week by losing to Minnesota. So they played the Central. They lost to most of them.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
That's okay.
Hurtle had a goal and assist in that game.
Tomash.
They a lot of power plays. 18 power plays. They only scored 3.
I mean, yeah, that's not good.
And then they had to kill 22 penalties.
Oh my God! In 5 games?
In 5 games, they had to kill 22.
Whoo! I had somebody written down. One of my teams had 20 penalty kills,
Yep.
and I was like, "Damn, that's a lot of penalties." But they got out matched.
22. They killed off 17. So
I mean,
they-
at least it was the majority of them they killed off.
So they were 2 for 3 against Washington, 6 for 6 against Winnipeg,
Hey,
4 for 5 against Colorado, and 3 for 4 against St. Louis, and then 2 for 4 against Minnesota.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
So it was at least one power play goal against in all of their losses this week. Yeah.
All right, moving on to Seattle,
Seattle
because San Jose Shark Team bad.
Shark Team.
Squid
Shark bait. Ooh ha ha.
Squid Team good.
Squid Team good.
2-1-1 this week. 37-22-7. They're 81 points and 3rd overall. They have extended a lead on Edmonton, who is in that first wild card spot.
Edmonton.
Yeah, I heard it.
They live in Toontown. Connor McDavid lives in Toontown.
He is a tune.
From kinda.
It's
Yeah, kinda.
It's basically
It explains a lot about
Bugs Bunny on the ice, Mason.
Yeah.
Like less slapstick, but
It makes me so mad.
more
that,
wizardry.
That Edmonton has had both Gretzky and McDavid at this point.
All right, can't talk much with Lemieux and Crosby.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you left out Yager.
I was about to throw in Yager too, you little asshole.
And also you left out Malkin, so yeah, okay. Fair enough. I'll shut my mouth. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't talk too much either with like
Adam Oates and Ovechkin.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I guess it's fair enough. A lot of teams have had multiple Hall of Fame. Most teams have had
Exactly.
multiple Hall of Famers.
Like if
But then, you
if
know-
we're Arizona fans, we can talk all the shit.
Oh,
we
I
want.
was gonna say Columbus.
Yeah, then
too,
we can talk
yeah.
all the shit.
But like at the very least, in those teams' defenses, they're younger teams. You know, like
Yeah.
Pittsburgh and Edmonton have been around since I believe at least the '60s.
Washington's been around since
Washington
the 70s.
'70s. You know, so those teams are 50 plus years
Yeah.
old. But still.
All right, Squid Team good.
Lemieux, best player
Um,
of all time. Come at me.
Colorado. They started the week
Mm-hmm.
at Colorado. They beat them in overtime.
They did.
They
Yeah,
did beat them in
yeah.
overtime. Yanni Gord had a goal. I believe it was the game-winning goal.
that.
It's
It's another great name.
It's a great name.
It's another great name.
Then they beat Anaheim.
As they should.
They outshot them by 10, and they won.
Anaheim did?
No.
Oh, Seattle did.
Yeah, Seattle outshot.
Take note, Calgary.
Right. Put puck
What are
in
you
net.
doing, Calgary?
Not exactly by 10, but they outshot them 31-22.
Just to take a pause really quick, just to roll back to Calgary for a second. That
Yep.
probably says to me their shot, the fact that they outshoot and then lose is that their shots are probably not taken from like quote unquote high danger areas.
That's not for Calgary specifically. That's not 100% true.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't watch
wa-
Calgary obviously
there
that
was-
much, but
In the Anaheim game,
yeah,
a very significant amount of high danger chances.
John Gibson was just like, get out of here,
Get the fuck
Shut
out
up.
of here. Yep, basically.
Not my house.
Exactly.
He was like, I'm so mad I didn't get traded at the trade deadline.
It's not that they were like hard angle shots either.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
this was
Then
just
okay. Then my point is moot. Then, but
that does.
I would just say if that is the trend, they probably just take a bunch of like terrible shots.
that does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
With teams that outshoot
Because
and lose, but
technically speaking, a shot is any shot, or a shot counts when it would go in the net if the goalie was not there.
right.
But
But for it to be a shot, it has to hit the goalie.
yeah.
So, block shots don't count.
Block shots do not count.
Posts
Do not count. That's kind of a newer rule too. I think within the last 10 years or so, because it used to be just whatever was a shot.
Oh, okay.
So like shot totals were like insane sometimes, But then they changed the rule. Not that it really matters that much, but
to more
like
accurately,
yeah, just to
like-
more accurately be like, well, that wouldn't have gone in the net,
Right.
You know, like. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There was one that I don't know who, I forgot which game, but it might have been the Anaheim game against Nashville, where he caught Nashville sleeping. Silverberg caught Nashville sleeping. Breakaway, outdeked Saros, but Saros got enough over that Silverberg shot hit the post, so it didn't even count as a shot.
Yeah.
He did everything right, but like Saros got just enough in the way where that excellent shot didn't count.
One of his teammates was like, that wasn't even a shot technically.
Yeah, right.
If I was his friend, if it was like me and you, and like you did that, and you came back to the bench, I'd be like, that wasn't even a shot.
That was off the post. That
wasn't even a shot, bro. God, you didn't even get a shot on goal. Damn, you fucked up.
And then it was off.
I would do it after. I wouldn't do
Yes.
it right then and there because I think you would probably. I think in the moment,
I might
somebody would
slash you.
Yeah. You would just get mad at me. But.
In this situation, shot went off the post, came back, and then Saros made some sort of spectacular save. It was like, God damn it!
God damn it, Saros.
It's like the Ducks players just like, what do I have to do?
What do I got to do to score?
What do I got to do?
I just want to score. Just one goal. Okay, we're talking about Seattle, though.
They lost to Ottawa 4-5.
Yeah.
In their third game,
Tangents are back, baby. We
are
cut them
back.
back last week so we could get through everything.
Against Anaheim, McCann had a goal and assist. Against Ottawa, McCann had 2 goals, and then they lost to Dallas in overtime, where Donato had a goal. So
Ryan Donato?
Ryan Donato.
Oh, wow. Hey.
I wasn't sure he was going to play again.
Wait, why?
I might be thinking I'm thinking of Donskoy. That's my
Oh,
bad.
okay. His name's not even
No, I
Ryan.
mean there's enough players.
Donato, Donskoy. They're close enough.
There's
I
enough
got
players
you,
with
yeah.
concussions out there who might not play again that it just blurs.
Yeah.
But Vince Dunn is their top player.
Hopefully you get better. Jonas Donskoy.
1 goal, 5 assists. And their penalty kill adjusted was 11 for 10.
I keep forgetting Vince Dunn is on Seattle.
Yeah, he's
There's
doing
so
great.
many players that like I know, and since I don't like 100% pay attention to, I don't like super pay attention to your teams because I got to focus on mine.
Right.
I forget where guys are sometimes.
Yep. And guys,
I'm like,
move.
oh yeah, Vince Dunn's on Seattle.
He's still playing.
Good
Or
for
like,
him. I
in
mean-
the sense of like Ryan Donato, he's like, oh, he's still playing.
I'm like, oh hey.
yeah.
Like around the trade deadline, Derek Pouliot I think is on San Jose, and he got waived. Mm-hmm. And I saw him like pop up on the transactions list, and I was like, Derek Pouliot's still in the league.
Not anymore.
He's on San Jose because he was a high draft pick by the Penguins, and he just
didn't
not
click.
No, it was he didn't click, and he didn't like really try that hard to click. So like it's one of those things, you know. Like there are some players that are like, oh, they get taken high in the draft, and then they think everything will just fall into place for them. This happens in every sport, and then they just don't try, and you're like, what happened? You know, what for an example in football is what's his face, Marcus Russell. Do you remember him? He got taken number 1 overall by the Raiders, and he showed up to camp like 50 pounds overweight, and he was a quarterback.
Right. Well, I think in the sense of like actually him, Kelvin Benjamin.
Oh, Kelvin Benjamin too.
They both didn't.
Kelvin Benjamin's still in the league at the very least.
Is he?
Well, I retract that statement. I don't know. I guess I don't know.
He
was in the league longer than Jamarcus Russell was.
Both of them also had like very like mentors die.
All right, Clay. Come
What?
on.
What?
Come on, man. Make me feel bad.
So no, they're both examples of like mental health and just lack of effort.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, a lot of times mental
Sidetrack
health
that.
doesn't get like brought up in these situations. Like, but
who's the one dude?
okay, I got a good one. That's not mental health.
Who's the one dude who had
Well,
the sexual
I take
assault
that back.
scandal in hockey? It's like it's not Gardner. His name's not Gardner, but like it's close. He went and played in the Swiss league. He just got cut like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I don't know.
Or it's Jake, not Virtanen.
Oh yeah, no, Jake Virtanen.
It is Jake
Yes,
Virtanen.
it is Jake Virtanen. Yes,
Jake Virtanen.
I'm on it. I'm with you now.
Won every chance. Vancouver gave him a
Vancouver
shit.
gave him a million chances.
And he just did not give a shit.
No, and on top of that, he very clearly sexually assaulted someone.
He got cleared. He went over to Europe.
And then he got cut right before the playoffs, if I remember correctly, from that European team.
His team said
They hated
it's
him.
him or me.
Yeah,
The entire team
whatever
said it.
team it was in the Swiss league or wherever it
second
was.
division.
Yeah, they were just like, we fucking hate this guy.
He was like, he's
Yeah,
like
he was
50
the one.
pounds overweight too.
Yeah, he was
He's
the
like
one.
5'11", 250.
I can't remember if he came out with like DMs from other players or one of the other players came out with DMs from him. That was like, this guy's just a piece of shit.
He's just a fucking
I think it was
asshole.
I think it was some other teammate. I don't remember who it was, but was just like, here's all the DMs from Jake Virtanen. I fucking hate him. And he's just such an. I think it was him insulting some other player on a different team's girlfriend or wife.
Oh, that was him? Avery did that.
Oh no, that's not what it was. A separate.
Separate thing.
Fuck Sean Avery. No, I think it was Jake Virtanen, or maybe it was someone else just associated with Jake Virtanen. But like DMs leaked from somewhere that were just like, oh, that guy's girlfriend's like so fucking ugly. She's such a dog, and like you look at the picture and like she's so attractive,
right?
And you're like, what are you talking about? Oh man, stupid young men.
Stupid Jake Virtanen.
Stupid Jake Virtanen.
But
He does not deserve any more chances.
That's an example of a guy with a high draft pick.
That's a
just
good point.
Not giving a shit.
Another, I thought of a football one. Johnny Manziel.
Yes.
Is another one.
That's another one.
His is drug related.
Yes,
but
but
like
still.
He
had all the tools.
He threw everything away because he just really liked to party.
Yeah,
essentially. So
there's plenty of soccer players who do the same thing.
yeah.
Like,
there's I'm sure, I don't follow the NBA that much, but I'm sure there's plenty of NBA players.
Mm-hmm.
There's other hockey players we're not thinking of that did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know. So what the hell are we talking? Who are we talking? Vancouver.
actually. Demko's back.
Set that away for a second.
Demko's back, and they're 3-0-1.
I didn't eat much for lunch, so these are.
That's what's hitting
This is going to be an issue.
Vancouver's ruining their own tank.
3-0-1.
Yeah.
Oh, Vancouver, what are you doing?
Demko came back. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
He was 3-0.
Well, it also kind of.
3-0.
They didn't have a very good trade deadline either, I will say.
3-0, 1.75 goals against average.
Should have traded him.
His save percentage isn't the best. It's I mean, the first game made it good. That's like a 9.35 save percentage.
It's pretty good.
Against Toronto, shamed Toronto.
Really?
He shamed Toronto.
Oh, my.
First period, they were outshot like 21-5. They beat him 4-1. They scored 2 shorthanded goals in the same power play.
That's so bad. That's so bad for Toronto. I would say if this wasn't Vancouver, I would say that's a really impressive penalty kill. But it's Vancouver. So
Right.
I would say that's more of a bad power play by Toronto. In the same power play?
The same power play.
Dude, that's so shameful.
I think I messed up. Yeah, I totally messed up. I don't know. I believe, put the arrow the wrong direction. It looks like they got outshot by Toronto 37-24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They still won, though, right?
They still won.
Okay. Take note, Calgary.
Take note.
Vancouver. Well, take note, Toronto, I guess. You and Calgary are doing the same thing here.
Then,
at least this week.
Then Silvos was in net against Nashville, where they lost in the shootout. So solid defensively, 3-3.
Yeah.
That's your
Go to a
overtime.
shootout. I mean, you know.
Pedersen had a goal in that game to tie it. Anaheim, they beat 3-2. Demko back in net, 3-2 in overtime. 2 for 2 with a shorthanded in that game. JT Miller had 2 goals. And then they finished the week by beating Ottawa 5-2.
I love how close you had to get your notebook to your face to read your own handwriting.
Shush. 5-2. Demko's back in net. JT Miller had a goal and assist. They outshot Ottawa 30-20. So they kind of controlled that game. Adjusted penalty kill. 13 for 10.
Yeah, the Toronto game. Helpful. No, and that's what, at least three shorthanded goals?
It's at least 3.
Yeah.
He scored 4. He scored 4 shorthanded goals in this past week. They're not number 1 since the last time we looked at shorthanded goals. I made sure to look at this before. Edmonton's number 1 with, I believe, 13 shorthanded goals on the season.
Okay.
Vancouver's now in second, tied for second with Philadelphia with 11.
It's so weird that Philly is up there, too.
I think there's 4 teams with 11 shorthanded goals.
It's so strange because, like, Edmonton's having a fine year, and they're number 1, and then Vancouver and Philadelphia are, like, 2 and 3 or tied for 2, whatever. And they're both having horrible seasons.
But they're penalty killing, just racking up the
silver
points.
Silver lining for those two teams.
So that brings their overall penalty kill of 69% to 75%.
Boo. Boo. 69% is the funniest percent. Boo.
I rounded up. It's 68.8.
That's like, oh my God, it's so bad. Well, it's like the same thing. What is with Vancouver? Last year, this sort of same thing happened where they fired their coach halfway through the year and brought in Bruce Boudreau and then went on a run. And they're not going to do that this year, but like
they're going on a run, but
they're not going to get as close to the playoffs as they did last year. But like, go on a run, look much better, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, the pieces are there. It's just like the coach has to put it together." And then Bruce Boudreau was there this year, and they were terrible. And then he left or got fired, whatever. And now they're much better again. And the same thing happened with their penalty kill last year too, where it was historically bad, and then their coach got fired, and then it was way better.
No. It's still historically bad.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the adjusted is making it look better.
Oh, okay.
That's all bad.
Fair enough.
Their penalty kill is 68.8.
It's just so weird that the similar thing has happened.
But
2 years
this
ago.
week alone, with 4 shorthanded goals.
That is a lot of shorthanded goals for 1 week.
Pettersson and Miller are their top players. They have equal amounts of points. Pettersson has 2 goals and 4 assists, and Miller has 4 goals and 2 assists.
All right.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Vegas.
Quick is in town.
Johnny Quick.
4-1. They're 41, 20-6 on the season. That's 88 points. That is first. I don't know if I said it. Vancouver is 20, 32-5, 61 points in 6th.
Nice.
They started. Quick played his first game in Montreal. 4-3 win. He did not have a save percentage above 9 in that game. Got the win.
He got the win.
Barbashev had 2 goals.
Oh, I forgot they traded for Barbashev.
In their next game was against Florida. They lost 1-2. Aiden Hill in net. He had above a 9.
No. Johnny Quick.
Hill had a 9-5-1 in that 2-1 loss.
Who cares?
Because they got outshot 41-32. Then they beat Tampa Bay in overtime. Quick in net. His save percentage was above 9 there.
Hell yeah. Take that, Kings.
They got a shorthanded goal in there. Then Quick, 33 for 33. They shut out Carolina. 4-0. It's not the only time they got shut out this week.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Nope.
So Quick is their star player right there.
Carolina had a crazy ass week.
Yeah. And then I forgot his first name, but Patera in net.
I have no idea what his first name is.
His first NHL goal game, he gets the win against St. Louis, going 30 for 33. I forgot his first name too. Pavel Dorofeyev? It's Dorofeyev.
Sure, man. Those are 2 players. I have no idea what their names are.
In his, this might have been Dorofeyev's first game too, but this was definitely Dorofeyev's first NHL goal.
Nice.
Which he scored off of his face.
Less nice, but memorable.
I mean, it bounced someone shot it. I think Carlson shot it. It deflected off Binnington into Dorfiev's face, off his visor, and went right in.
At least it was off the visor.
It was off the
At least
visor.
it was off the visor. But it
Dorf-
counts.
Dorfiev played amazing that game.
Yeah?
He had so many high quality chances.
Nice.
And that was the goal he got.
That's what you call serendipity, baby.
His reaction was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I'd have been like sick. I scored.
No, he was smiling,
Yeah.
but it was just arms slumped, hands in the air.
I was
just
like, oh, my face
whatever."
hurts, but that's pretty sick that I scored.
Riley Smith is their top player.
I'll be totally
2
honest.
goals and
I'd
4
be pretty
assists.
pumped if that was my first goal. Like a really weird, like off my face goal.
What's that YouTube meme video where the goalie saves all the penalties with his face? I can't think of his name.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it.
Look it up after the pod.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Riley Smith's their top player with 2 goals and 4 assists. I don't
Nice.
have a lot of news for the Pacific. Starts with the Kings.
Oh wow.
Kevin Fiala's day-to-day with a lower body. He missed the last game of this week, so we'll see what
Okay, moving
happens
forward,
to him
yeah.
going forward. And Sean Durzee's the same way, day-to-day. It's an undisclosed injury, though.
This is nuts.
Yep.
That's what I always default to if it's an undisclosed injury.
No, that was a different team in orange and blue with nuts. McDonald is day to day with an undisclosed injury with San Jose. Literally the kid who just had that contract that
Oh,
you
yeah.
talked about.
Yeah.
So I didn't put his new contract. It's an entry level. I think it's like
It's short.
slightly under $1 million.
Yeah, it's a little contract.
And then for Vegas, Aiden Hill is day to day with a lower body.
That's good.
That's why Patera was in net,
Yeah.
and Quick is their starting goalie going forward.
Oh, my
he
God.
Quick might outplay Aiden Hill
In the long run,
and
maybe.
Brissois in the long run, but he's not like if Logan Thompson comes back, he's not gonna
No.
outplay him.
But geez, oh man, Vegas, the goalie injuries, Jesus, this year.
Think about Robin Leonard, who's might not play again.
Yeah, I don't think Robin Leonard's ever going to play again.
So goalie injuries are a problem.
It's like that was Buffalo last year, right?
Oh my God, they went through 7
Like
goalies.
7 goalies, yeah, it's nuts.
With between Anderson, Subban, Luukkonen, who
Wasn't Aiden Hill on Buffalo too?
I don't know if Aiden Hill.
Dustin Tokarski definitely was.
I was gonna say
yeah.
Tokarski. Aiden Hill was on San Jose. It was.
Oh, that's right.
What's the dude's name? Oh, Aaron Dell.
Aaron Dell.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of. All right, well, you're done with the Pacific, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to the Metropolitan Division.
Woo woo woo! I
Starting-
hate this division.
You and me both, brother. Starting with the Carolina Hurricanes, who had a really kind of strange week.
Yes, they did.
They started off by shutting out Tampa Bay 6-0,
Yeah,
where
they-
they outshot Tampa 38-14.
Yeah.
Jesper Kotkaniemi had a goal and 4 assists in this game. Teuvo Teravainen had a hat trick, and Shane Gostisbehere, new from the trade deadline,
Ghost Bear.
had a goal and 2 assists in this game. They then went on to beat Montreal in a shootout 4-3, where they
yep.
outshot Montreal 39-24.
Wow.
Brett Pesce had 2 assists in this game. They then beat Philly 1-0, where they outshot Philly 29-19. Kochekov had the shutout, and Svechnikov had the only goal in that game. Yes.
Scott Sterling. Have you seen the video? The Scott Sterling video.
No.
It's a mock video. He's a goalie. He saves. It's a penalty shootout for the championship. He saves every single shot with his face. He's woozy as hell after every single one, but he keeps getting backing up there and keeps getting blown up in the face.
We'll have to watch it when we're done.
Goalie legend Scott Sterling.
Goalie legend Scott
That's
Sterling.
what Dorfiev was. Scott Sterling.
All right. So, Carolina, if you guys are counting at home, had 2 shutouts
Yes.
in their first 3 games over this last week and change.
We've already talked about one shutout against.
And we have Vegas shut them out in their next game 4-0. And then they finished off the week by also getting shut out by the New Jersey Devils 3-0.
Yeah.
So Carolina had 4 shutouts this week, 2 for, 2 against, and then that shootout win against Montreal right in between.
That's crazy.
That's if you look at this, their offense went down the entire week.
Yeah.
They started off with 6 goals, and then 3 goals, not counting the shootout.
No, yep, just 3.
Point, and then 1 goal, and then double zeros to finish off the week. So
Not good.
not good.
We'll see what happens with them because that's worrying trend.
Back-to-back shutouts is never a good thing to see.
Worrying trend.
Yeah.
Or whoever they play next game is in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Vegas. It's not like Vegas and New Jersey are bad teams,
No.
by any means. So, but back-to-back shutouts.
Oh, but
dang.
that's the type of thing that can get a team really fired up
Oh yes.
and just
I don't know who
somebody.
they play next, but they might score 10 goals, much like Dallas did this year.
Yes.
This week.
Yes, they did.
Anderson and Kochekov, their 2 goalies, played all 5 games between the two, 3-2 with a 150 goals against, 925 save percentage, and 2 shutouts between the 2 of them.
Good for them.
Well,
we won't.
it's
talk
not
about
their
the other
faults.
games.
Not their faults for the 2 shutouts to end the week. They got no run support.
That's no run support.
Let's move on to Columbus. As we mentioned before, the last place team in the NHL, going 0-2-1 this week.
It tracks.
They lost to Ottawa 5-2 to begin the week, getting outshot 39-21. Then lost to Pittsburgh 5-4 in overtime, where they blew a 4-0 lead
Yes, they did.
against Pittsburgh. I turned this game off because of how mad I was at the Penguins.
Look, and I turned that game off because of how mad I was at the Blue Jackets.
They looked really good through the first 1.5 periods.
No, I didn't watch any of that game, but I was just like, come on.
They were up 4-0 in the second period, and then Pittsburgh scored, made it 4-1 by the end of the second, and then tied it up in the third and won in overtime.
With Crosby just being Crosby.
Well, yeah, you know. Foudy and Benstrom each had a goal and an assist in this game, while Kent Johnson had 2 assists. They lost to St. Louis, who is almost as bad as them.
Almost.
Not as bad. Almost as bad.
Their top line is better.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Their top line is better than the entirety of the Columbus team. And they have Johnny Gaudreau.
Hey, Gaudreau and Line A are all right.
Are they better than Thomas Kyrou and Buchnevich?
No.
Nah,
Not
no,
even
they're
a little bit.
They're not. Hey, speaking of Johnny Gaudreau, he had 2 assists in this game.
Good for him.
Do you think they had a top player?
No.
Nah, they didn't.
Nah.
No. The Devils 4-1 this week, beating Arizona 5-4 in overtime to begin the week. Jesper Boqvist had 2 goals in that game, while Haula and Hamilton each had 2 assists. And Severson had a goal and an assist.
Yeah.
They lost to Toronto 4-3. Haula 2 goals and an assist in that game, while Palat had a goal and 2 assists. Excuse me?
Toronto bounced back from that embarrassment of Vancouver.
Yeah. To beat a pretty good team in the Devils. They then beat Washington in a shootout 3-2, where they outshot Washington 40-22.
Yep.
Dawson Mercer, who's having a pretty good year for them, goal and an assist. They then beat Montreal, as they should, 3-1.
Yep.
Outshooting them 37-24. Hischier had a goal and an assist, and then they shut out Carolina, as I already mentioned, where Jesper Bratt had 2 goals. Jack Hughes had a goal and 2 assists, and Vitek Vanacek had 32 saves for the shutout. And Haula is their top player.
Very nice.
Haula Batgirl. 3 goals, 3 assists this week for them.
Hey, ain't no hollaback girl.
Ain't no Haula Batgirl. The Islanders are up next, 3-1 this week. Pretty good week.
Yeah, frustrating.
They beat Detroit 4-1, where Andersley had 2 goals. Kyle Palmieri had a goal and an assist. They beat Buffalo 3-2. Bailey, Fashing, and Cizikas each had a goal and an assist in that game.
Yep.
They beat Pittsburgh in overtime 4-3, where Andersley had 2 goals, including the overtime game winner. And Brock Nelson had a goal and an assist. I hate both of those players. And then they lost to Washington 5-1.
Yes, they did.
To finish off the week. Thank you, Washington. Where Washington outshot them 27-18. Anders Lee is their top player with 4 goals this week. Fucking piece of shit. Hate Anders Lee.
Dude always scores against Pittsburgh.
Every game. Every fucking game. The Rangers are up next. They went 2-1-1 this week.
Yep.
Not quite as good as the Islanders, but not bad.
Nope, they're solidly in
Third.
the playoff spot.
Yeah, they got third place in the
Yeah.
Metro, pretty much locked down. I mean, Pittsburgh's not that far behind them, but they're far enough that it's kind of
Yeah,
it's hard ground unless the Rangers
unless the Rangers
lose a
tank.
bunch of games and Pittsburgh goes on a hot streak. But I think they're 6 points up on the Penguins right now,
Yeah.
so they got a solid lead. They started off the week by losing to Boston 4-2. Alexis Lafreniere had both goals in that game.
Wow.
They beat Montreal 4-3 in a shootout. Panarin, 3 assists in that game. Patrick Kane,
Wow.
and Jake Trouba each had a goal and an assist in that game. In case you guys forgot, Patrick Kane is on the Rangers now.
This is Montreal.
Yes.
Well,
I think that was his first game, or
was
his first goal.
His
with the
first goal,
Rangers.
but he had an awful turnover that led up a goal.
Sick.
Yeah, but that was before he scored, so that made him mad, and he scored.
They beat Buffalo 2-1 in overtime, where Artemi Panarin had the overtime game winner. But hey, they lost to Pittsburgh 3-2 in overtime, where they were 2 for 4 on the penalty kill.
It's not what you want.
No. Now, they did have a fine week, but they really didn't have any standouts scoring-wise, so they don't get a top player because all of their scoring was kind of spread
very
apart,
much
and then
spread
their two goaltenders didn't play that great this week. So yeah, Philly's up next, 1-3,
Where they belong.
where they belong. This week they were 11 for 16 on the penalty kill with
good.
a shorthanded goal.
You'll get to it after this.
Mm-hmm.
There's good news coming out of Philly, which is sadness to everywhere else. But
I
continue.
can't wait to talk about that. They beat Detroit to start the week off,
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah, they did.
They outshot them 37-26 in that game.
Oh, I didn't write that down.
Look at that, Philly. Look at you. Then they lost to Tampa Bay 5-2, where they were 3 for 6 on the penalty kill. They got shut out by Carolina 1-0. Respectable.
Yeah,
Respectable.
yeah, that's fine.
And they lost to Pittsburgh 5-1.
That is
Less respectful.
It's your big brother.
Cross state rivals.
It's your big brother kicking the shit out of you, like
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
This year anyway, Big Brother. Yeah. They don't get a top player. Pittsburgh up next, 3-1-1 this week.
Is it the Flyers an older team than the Penguins?
No, I think they came in the same year.
Well, that's crazy.
66, I think it was.
Huh.
I think Pittsburgh and Philly were both in that expansion.
So your twin brother.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they came in the same expansion.
Your more recently successful twin brother kicking the shit out of you. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, 3-1-1 this week.
Yep.
Started off by losing to Florida 4-1 in a game that was just like really maddening to watch as a Penguins fan. They were outshot 42-32 in that game. They then beat Columbus 5-4 in overtime, where I already mentioned they came back from being down 4-0. Jason Zucker, who I swear to God, if the Penguins do not re-sign, I don't know what the hell they're doing, because he is just having, especially the second half of the year, he has been
On a tear.
a lightning bolt for them. He had 2 goals in this game. Crosby had the overtime game winner and 2 assists on top of that.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
Evgeny Malkin had 3 assists. They then lost to the Islanders 4-3 in overtime, where Pittsburgh blew a 3-1 lead to lose in overtime.
3-1 lead.
Jeff Petrie with 2 assists. And let me just say, as a Penguins fan, they have lost every game against the Islanders in the exact same fucking way. Every game. I think they've played 3 or 4 games against the Islanders now. They've had the lead in every one of those games and have blown that lead in the third period to either lose in regulation or lose in overtime. And I hate it. It makes me so angry. Anyway, they beat the Flyers 5-1 in their next game, where Gensel and Mikael Granlund had a goal and an assist, and Marcus Pettersson had 2 assists in that game. And then they beat the Rangers 3-2 in overtime, like I just mentioned, where Malkin and Crosby each had 2 assists, and Chris Letang had the overtime game winner, which was also a power play goal.
Power play. It was either Crosby to Malkin to Letang. It was basically like a.
It was the
Pittsburgh-
big 3,
it
and
was a
Gensel was there too.
Pittsburgh fans' wet dream.
I was wearing, my mom sent me a shirt a month or 2 ago, maybe for Christmas, that said Sid Gino Letang, and it was like Penguins Forever or something like that. And I was wearing it during that game. He scored that goal. I was like, yeah.
I love that for you. I hate that for everyone else.
I will say there was some criticism when they re-signed both Malkin and Letang in the offseason because people were like, oh, well, we should go younger, yada, yada, yada. Those three players, especially Crosby and Malkin, are both having great years and are the only reason that the Penguins are in the playoffs 100%, right now.
Because
those two, Zucker and like Gensel, the top six is the only reason the Penguins are anywhere near the playoffs right now.
I mean, you hired former Pittsburgh or Philly GM as your
I'm still
GM.
not convinced that he's not some weird double agent.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like,
yeah,
he gave away all of your speed.
Yeah, well, we got some of it back with Raquel. That trade I ain't mad about. No, that trade and re-signing I'm not mad about.
That trade's fine. But with other than that, like McCann and
yeah, those ones still make me really mad.
Right. But especially Letang, who before he was dealing with his health injury and losing his dad, had a bad year.
Oh yeah, he was not having a great year. The second half of the year has been much better.
And then since he's come back from all of that, he's been great.
Yeah,
it's
annoying. He has 3 overtime game-winning goals this year, and 2 of them were I think a month or so ago. It was 2 games in a row.
Yeah, so I know it's annoying.
Malkin is their top player this week with 8 assists.
Wow.
Big week for him.
Wow.
Big week for him. Yeah. Moving on to Washington. Hey, not a bad week.
No.
2-1-1. They stomped San Jose like you already talked about. 8-3.
Yes.
Ovi, 2 goals and an assist in that game.
He broke a drought in that game.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't scored for a little bit.
Yeah, he broke a drought.
2 goals and an assist in that game. Rasmus Sandin, new to the Washington Capitals, had 3 assists. We'll talk about him in a second. And 4 other players had 2 points in that game. I will go ahead and say this. Very worth trade for Washington so far, that trade. I thought it was a good trade kind of in general.
Yeah.
But we'll talk. Let me get through the rest of the games.
Yeah. Oh, I know where you're going.
Lost to LA 4-2. Hey, Rasmus Sandin had a goal and an assist in that game. Lost to New Jersey 3-2 in a shootout. Kemper had a pretty good game.
Yep.
38-40. Can't knock him for that.
He tried his best.
And then they beat the Islanders. Thank you so much. 5-1. I'm just so angry the Penguins cannot beat the Islanders. They should. They by every metric should win. I'm sorry.
Washington has the Islanders number, which is very funny.
Yeah, it's great. If you could knock them out of the playoffs, that would make me so happy. I hate Anders Lee. I hate him. Sandin had 3 assists in that game. Strome and Mantha each had a goal and an assist.
Mm-hmm.
And TVR, 2 assists.
Good.
Rasmus Sandin had a goal and 7 assists this week. Hey, but Dylan Strome also had 3 goals and 4 assists.
Yes, he did. He did great.
So that trade for Rasmus Sandin paying early dividends for the Caps.
I love the Toronto fans.
How old is he? Like 23?
Yep.
Oh, man, what a good trade.
That's going to be annoying for people.
Yeah, I'm already annoyed about it.
Toronto fans were annoyed immediately.
I would be pretty annoyed because, I mean, yeah, you got a first-round pick out of it for Toronto, but, like, also Eric Gustafsson, who's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, I understand that the reason Sandin wasn't playing in Toronto was because they kind of have a logjam on that side of the defense in Toronto. But, like, after going to Washington, you got to be like, oh, my fucking, you couldn't fit him into the lineup.
Dubas knew. It's Keith who didn't.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. Yeah, there is sometimes an interesting disconnect between general manager and coach where you're like, you should play that guy.
Yeah.
Like, no, he doesn't fit into what we're trying to do. Like, no. But you should play him. He wasn't having a bad year for Toronto either.
He was just on the third pair.
Yeah, so, oh, God, I fucking hate that trade at this point.
He's going to be on our second, if not our first, with Carlson coming back.
Oh, man. Okay. Stupid. I hate it. Let's talk about a little bit of news. John Tortorella, just stick with me here. John Tortorella, hey, defended Chuck Fletcher for not doing more at the trade deadline. You know, a lot of people bitching and moaning that they didn't trade at least James Van Riemsdyk. There was some interest in him.
You could have gotten a second and a third.
You
for
could have
him,
gotten
but
something
if you were,
for him,
if
but
you were asking for a first, I think that's a lot.
maybe they were asking for too much. So Tortorella was like, he was trying to trade him. It's not like he wasn't trying to trade him. Defended him. So just keep that in mind.
Yep.
Tony DeAngelo, also of the Flyers, was suspended 2 games for spearing Corey Perry. And by spearing, I mean delivering a vicious nut shot to Corey Perry.
When all 5 Tampa Bay players jump him and
Oh, boy, yeah.
and then a couple, like once it was 5-on-1, a couple of Flyers players stepped in, but like they waited until it was 5-on-1.
Weird how they're not defending him.
Also, it's like you made Corey Perry look like the good guy.
Yeah, right. That's hard to do. It's not like Corey Perry's never nut shot at anybody.
No.
Moving over to the other side of the Keystone State, the Penguins have announced that they're renovating their arena.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Huh.
To some extent. Chuck Fletcher got fired, by the way.
Oh, I thought based on ESPN's reporting, it was Chuck Taylor.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? No, Chuck Fletcher. After John Tortorella defended him, like the next day got fired.
Chuck Taylor got fired. Gruyere?
Chuck Fletcher got fired. Briere. Gruyere is
It's
a cheese.
yes.
Danny Briere, who some people might remember him playing in the league,
Yes.
played for the Flyers for
Yep.
a while, Buffalo too, another team somewhere in there,
Yep.
is taking over as their interim GM, maybe their long-term replacement, who knows.
I mean, as long as their board is old Flyer heads, they're never going to be good.
Yeah, well, as long as it's, what's his face, Bobby Clark
That's
is their
it.
president, I think, or something.
Yeah.
They're not going to...
No, they're going to bring back the Broad Street Bullies,
well, they're going to try
which does
every time.
not work in the league right now.
Nope.
Um,
Gonna keep... That's fine with me. Keep the Flyers down, baby.
Well, that's why I was just like, man, that's bad news for everybody. Briere might be a good, might be good.
I've already seen reports that they might trade Carter Hart in the offseason.
Well, he did say full rebuild mode. Like he's admitted.
That's what they should do, honestly.
Well, that's why they're
Yeah.
that's why they're saying they might trade Carter Hart
Yeah.
because
They could get quite a bit for him, probably.
he said
Yeah.
full rebuild.
Yeah.
And
You don't want to waste Carter Hart's prime.
Get him
in a
on-
full rebuild, yeah.
get him while he's good. Carter Hart probably won't want to waste Carter
Trade
Hart.
him to the Penguins.
For fuck's sake, no.
Danny Briere.
Edmonton would love
What's
him.
up, brother? No. They have Jack Campbell.
Yeah, they'll send 2 firsts. One to take Jack Campbell and one to get Carter.
Nope. Pittsburgh Penguins for a 4th-round pick. Carter Hart.
Chuck Fletcher's got fired. He's not taking a 4th round.
We don't know how good of a GM Danny Briere is yet.
Touche.
Elvis Merzlikins, in a little bit more of a serious note, is taking
Personal time.
a leave of absence from the Columbus Blue Jackets because I believe he is from Latvia, and
He's having a bad time.
his grandmother is ill.
No, passed away.
Oh, she now has passed away, unfortunately. So he is going to attend to his family over there, which, I hope everything is fine with him.
Yep.
Godspeed, Merzlikins. I'm sure he'll be back by the end of the year, but still.
Dude's
that
had a
sucks.
rough 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
A
true.
rough couple of years.
Which really is interesting because he got pulled from the Pittsburgh game, not for playing bad, and I thought he got hurt because whoever their other goalie is went in, and I was like, where did Merzlikins go? He started the game.
Hutchinson?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Hutchison played
Fine.
But I was like, does Merzlikins get hurt? And I'm wondering if
They might got a call.
Yeah, he might have got a call
So
part way through that game. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. I hope him and his family are doing okay. Hey, Washington, on a lighter note,
Yep.
re-signed Trevor Van Riemsdyk
Yes, he did.
to a 3-year, $3 million per.
I'm
That's
fine
pretty.
with that.
That's pretty fine. Yeah, he's been playing pretty well for them.
Washington's going to look real young in 3 years because that is the end of
Ovi, Backstrom.
Ovi, Backstrom, Oshie is Carl. Maybe not Carlson.
They're
but,
starting
like,
to set themselves up to look for a new look Capitals essentially. Look at that, Penguins. You could do that too. All right, that's it for the Metro.
All
what
right.
you got next, baby boy?
I got the Atlantic. Baby
boy.
Starting with Boston.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my dog her meds. You start. I'll be right back.
Boston went 2-2 this week. 2-2, looking mortal. They are 50, 10-5 on the season.
Stupid.
They are the first team to hit 50 this year.
Can you just take this, please?
They actually beat the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Red Wings record for fastest to 50. We know the Tampa Bay as the 18-19 Tampa Bay and the 95-96 Detroit Red Wings.
Just swallow it. Just take your medication. Oh my god.
The worst dog.
Just being annoying.
We do know what happened to both of those teams in the playoffs.
Did the Red Wings lose in the first round too?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So
I was 4 when that happened.
if history has anything to say,
Fingers crossed.
they lose in the first round, but then they win the next 2 Stanley Cups. So what do you want?
No. Lose in the second round and win no Stanley Cups.
There he is. Because the 95-96 Red Wings did the same thing. They lost in the first round and then they won 2 straight cups.
That's annoying.
Yeah, right?
I don't like that precedent.
All right, so they started the week beating the Rangers 4-2. Linus Ullmark.
Did score a goal in this game, washed.
He's washed. That's it. Going 24 for 26. Charlie Coyle had a goal and assist in that game, and they adjusted. We're 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Edmonton, they lost. They were winning. They lost to Edmonton. Late in the game, Pastrnak did have a goal and assist. They beat Detroit at home 3-2. Linus Ullmark getting the win there. Garnet Hathaway gets his first Boston goal, and it happened to be the game-winning goal. So that's why he gets the nod there. Because I think someone else had a golden assist, but you got the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
Late in the third period. So
Hey, yeah.
that's what it happened. What it does.
That's what happened.
And then they went to Detroit and then lost 3-5 in
They did, yeah.
a game where Detroit controlled 90% of the game.
I saw Moritz Cedar pickpocket. Who was it? Pastrnak?
Pastrnak.
Yeah.
They were up 4-0, and then
Detroit was
up 4-0, and Boston surged back in the
too late.
second period. Maybe second period. Either way, they scored 3 goals really tight
I see.
together, and it looked like Detroit was going to blow it, but they held on.
Who do they think they are? Pittsburgh?
Right?
Trying to blow multi-goal leads
Um,
to division rivals?
Pastrnak had a goal and an assist in that game. Power play, adjusted, -1 for 12.
Nice.
Gave
Take that, Boston.
Gave up a shorthanded goal in each Detroit game. Because, like Bert mentioned, Seider picked Pasternak's pocket on his own blue line, raced down the ice, and then backhanded it past Swayman to...
That kid's good. Moritz Cedar's really good.
Remember...
Cider, however it's pronounced.
I believe it's Cedar. Remember they got clowned by taking him 6 overall?
Yeah, like really bad.
Yeah.
And people were like, why the fuck would you take this random-ass German defenseman? And then for his rookie year, everybody was like, oh.
Limited offensive upside is what they said.
It's almost like Steve Yzerman knows what he's doing.
You can see Yzerman's face when this kid is walking to the stage in that draft where he knows.
He's just like, I know.
And he's just like, I don't care. And they were also 5 for 9 on the penalty kill. So that was
That's also pretty bad. Yeah,
a weak special teams.
Very pedestrian week for Boston.
Pastrnak is their top player with 3 goals and 2 assists, though.
That's fair.
Because he's
Yeah,
Pasternak.
that's a pretty good week.
They have 105 points. First.
Shut up.
Buffalo's up next.
Just really quick, I love seeing betting odds
Yeah.
for any sports.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, Boston's the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Like, oh yeah, you guys just looked at the standings.
Yeah.
Like really good analysis.
Good job, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but it's just like people are like, oh, Vegas says they're the top pick to win the Stanley Cup. Like, yeah, no shit, they're in first place by a mile.
I gotta say, the vibe between the Lightning's 18-19 President's Trophy run and the vibe between Boston's run is very different. Because to me, Vegas, while they were winning all these games, kind of just like they were coasting towards the end.
Fair, yeah.
And then they had one good period against Columbus,
Against
and then
Columbus,
that
yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
That'll
be this year, Boston versus either Pittsburgh or the Islanders.
Boston just doesn't seem to have that vibe.
We'll see.
I mean,
There's still, 15 plus games left.
right, that is true. And yes, they are winning those games, but they don't seem like they're like
Boston is a much more veteran team compared to Tampa Bay.
That's what it is.
Because they have Patrice Bergeron, they have David Krejci, Marchand. All those guys are in their mid 30s.
Yeah.
Ish. I don't remember how old Marchand is, but I think he's the same age as Crosby, or around about.
he's like 32, 35.
I want
in between
I
that
want to say
range.
somewhere between there. So they have a lot of like older players. Where with Tampa Bay, like okay, like Stamkos wasn't young. He wasn't like a baby.
No, but they had gotten to
like,
the conference finals a couple
Yeah.
times, but like
they had like young Point. They had younger
Mm-hmm.
other guys, and you could say, oh, okay, so they got too confident. Where
Exactly.
with Boston,
I don't see them getting too confident.
their core of this team has won a Stanley Cup already, has been to the playoffs multiple times,
They've lost a Stanley Cup.
have lost a Stanley Cup in that time, have lost 2 Stanley Cups in that time? Because they won one and then lost one to Chicago and then lost
they
one
lost one to
to
Chicago,
St.
yeah.
Louis as well. I don't know. I want them to lose in the first round. I don't think they're going to whoever they play.
I don't think
but
they're going to lose in the first round. I don't necessarily think
I'm not going to
win the cup.
say the East is fucking stacked. I'm not going to say anybody is the shoe-in to make
No.
it from the East, because God only knows fucking Pittsburgh or the Islanders could make it to the or Buffalo or
Like-
somebody random could make it from the East. The NHL playoffs are insane because
The Rangers aren't looking that hot right now, but you
Yeah.
get a playoff Kane, you get a playoff Tarasenko, like
right. So yeah, who knows? The
You-
Rangers could run through everybody.
you have Toronto if they actually beat Tampa in the first round.
I-
Who knows if you can stop that?
I'm calling it right now. If Toronto makes it past Tampa in the first round, they're going to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now. I don't care if they have to play Boston in the second
No,
round. They're going to beat them.
They're going to run through.
They're going to have all of
everybody.
that energy. It's going to be the same thing
That
when
the
Washington
Capitals-
beat Pittsburgh finally in the playoffs, and they went and won the Stanley
Yeah.
Cup. So that's the only guarantee that I will make. If Toronto beats Tampa Bay, they're going to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And they might win. It depends on who they play. If
Depends on who they play.
But the Western
and
Conference,
how beat up they
the Western Conference is way weaker than the Eastern Conference.
Right.
The Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be a fucking bloodbath.
and again, they're going to be
Every series, if you look at the standings right now for just those teams, every one of those series could go to 7 games easily.
and they all hate each other already.
Oh yes, they all despise each other.
Because it's like the way I'm not even looking at the standings map right now because it's Tampa, Toronto. Those teams hate each other. Then it's
New Jersey,
New
New
York
York Rangers, they despise each other. And I think if we're going off of what it looks like right now, it would be Islanders, Boston, which those are 2 older teams that certainly do not like each other.
and they've played each other in the conference finals recently.
That's true. And then
Carolina.
Pittsburgh, Carolina, who have playoff history too.
Yeah,
Because
they don't like each other.
Now none of the players on Carolina would remember this, but the first cup that the Penguins won with their core, they embarrassed Carolina in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals.
You better fucking believe Brind'Amour is going to remember that.
Oh fuck! Oh yeah, Brind'Amour's gonna remember that shit. None of the players will, but So I think, at least in the East, I think every one of those playoff matchups could go the distance, and I don't know who would win.
Even if they don't go the distance, it might get to a certain point where one team is 4-1 or 3-1 up in a series,
And then the other team comes back.
or the other team's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna hurt him.
Yeah, because remember Boston. I will say the Islanders have Casey Cizikas and Matt Martin just cuz.
And Clutterbuck.
And Cal Clutterbuck. That's their whole fourth line, and they're just there to injure you.
Yep.
I hate them. Anyway, who the fuck are we talking? Buffalo.
Buffalo now.
Yeah.
They went 1-3-1.
Buffalo.
Well, here's the thing. Their teams, their strength of schedule this week that just happened and this next current week is not looking good because they play Toronto tonight.
Gotcha.
I know they play Washington. They played Tampa Bay. They beat Tampa Bay.
Fallen so far back at this point.
They beat Tampa Bay. They lost to Edmonton. They lost to the Islanders. They lost to Dallas. And then they lost to the Rangers. So those are all teams in the playoffs right now.
The thing with Buffalo
wanted to take a couple of points here and there.
You had to at least go to overtime with more than one of the. What did you say? 1-3-1.
Yeah.
More than one of those losses. If you could have gotten any point, because right now they're tied with Detroit.
Right.
In the playoffs.
Because Detroit is surging. Not this week, but they are surging.
Yeah.
So yeah, they beat Tampa 5-3.
They're a pretty good clip back at this point.
Tage Thompson had a goal and assist. Special teams wasn't good either. It was fine either way. You gave up a shorthanded goal, even though you scored 2 power plays. You gave up a penalty kill. But then they lose to Edmonton, where they battled back. They did Edmonton was up 3-0. They battled back to 3-2. Craig Anderson did have a very good game. It just wasn't enough to get to end of regulation. Where Skinner did have a goal. Lost to the Islanders in a close game. They were outshot by the Islanders 39-24.
Yeah.
Then they lost to Dallas 10 to 4.
It's our first double-digit game of the year. 10-4.
Comrie was 39 for 49.
Wow, he was in for all 10 goals. Oh boy!
They said you're gonna take this.
It's like that Montreal game a couple years ago. Where they lost 10-0 and kept Jake Allen for all 10 goals.
They were also outshot 49-29.
Yeah. Hey, they scored 4 goals.
They scored 4 goals.
That's not bad.
They were 2 for 3 on the power play.
Ain't bad. 4 goals.
4
goals, eh?
Then
I don't know why I said it like that.
Then they lost to the Rangers in overtime, like Bert mentioned.
Yeah.
Skinner had a goal there. 3 for 13 on the power play. 11 for 14 on the penalty kill. Skinner and Thompson, I will give.
What's crazy is that that's not that bad.
No.
And I think most of the goals in the Dallas game were 5-on-5 goals,
they were all,
which is so bad.
Only one was a power play goal. They were all even strength.
I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, only one of these was a power play goal?
They do get a top player with the amount of points that got put up because they put up more than 1 point a game. Yeah. So Jeff Skinner, 4 goals and 2 assists this week in 5 games. Yep, that's good. He has played 800 games without a playoff appearance. And then Tage Thompson had 1 goal and 5 assists.
Oh, boy. I didn't realize it was getting that bad for him.
It is.
That's
we'll see what happens next year.
That's almost 10 full seasons without a playoff appearance. Damn, dude.
But yeah, no, this was not the time for Buffalo to fall off.
Nah.
They play Toronto tonight or Monday night.
I mean, we'll see.
I know they play Washington later this week. They might play Edmonton again. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's a divisional game. They could take it from Toronto. But
they have 2 more games against the Rangers.
vengeance.
Yeah.
Vengeance.
Hopefully it'll be sweet.
So when, you know what, when the Rangers start falling off, and I'm calling it out, it's going to happen. They're going to fall back, and they're going to miss the playoffs. Calling it right now. They're so far ahead. They would have to lose like 10 games in a row to fall out.
Can't even take you seriously. Now they weren't buyers at the deadline. They knew that.
And I respect that.
Yes.
I do respect that from Buffalo because they're close. They're close enough that they could have bought. And I would have understood, but
they're not going to mortgage their future. They like where they're at.
I respect that decision.
Yes, but it's still hard to watch.
Still hurts.
It's still hard to watch. So next,
because I want Buffalo to succeed.
Yeah. So next year might be Buffalo's year to make the playoffs. But
we'll see, man.
But look
I don't know
what everyone else is doing in the East.
Already looks. The East next year already looks loaded.
Yeah.
Because you have Boston probably staying the same. Toronto, they might have a new coach.
We'll see what happens with Bergeron and Krejci.
That's fair. Oh, if Boston goes and wins the championship, Bergeron's probably gone.
And Krejci.
Riding off into the sunset. Yep. Totally understandable. But I still think Boston will be good. Yeah. Will still be good. Toronto will probably stay the same, similar. They might have a new coach. Ottawa theoretically will be better. Detroit theoretically will be better.
If they change, if Ottawa changes,
let's not even talk about the Metro.
If Ottawa changes their coach, I think, because DJ Smith is by all accounts a great person.
Just not a good hockey coach.
Right. Yeah. He's a great assistant coach.
Yeah. But, like, if you move over to the Metro, Washington has clearly gotten better with Rasmus Sandin, plus whatever they do in the offseason. The Islanders are the Islanders.
Back to the Atlantic. Florida is making a push right now.
Oh, that's true as well. Florida is weirdly not in the playoffs this year after last year.
Detroit's making a push.
Detroit's making a push. You have the Islanders, you have the Rangers, you have the Devils. All of them got better at the deadline. All of them got better moving forward, especially the Devils.
Frick.
I mean, Pittsburgh's going to be a year older, but going into the offseason, they have the one thing that they haven't had in a long time, cap space.
Yep.
So God only knows what they're going to do, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Please do something good. So who knows where Buffalo... At this point, if you're a Buffalo fan, you got to be like, man, I wish we were in the Western Conference, because the Western Conference is significantly worse than the Eastern Conference.
So many teams probably wish they were in the Western. All right, we're going to talk about Detroit right now.
Detroit probably wishes they were still in the Western Conference.
So last week, we're going to talk about last week's the Friday, the Saturday, Sunday. They went 0-2.
Lame.
But this week, 3-1, 2-1. So overall,
better.
So overall, 2-3.
Yeah.
They lost to the Islanders to start their week. Then they lost to Philadelphia, both at the Islanders at Philly. Then they beat Chicago in a close game. They lost to Boston, and then they beat Boston. Larkin had a goal against the Islanders. He had their only goal.
Keep going.
Yep.
I'll just take a picture.
Then Kubalik had a goal in the game-winning goal in the Chicago game, where they outshot Chicago 41-20. They lost to Boston, like I said, in a very close game, and then beat Boston in a close game as well. It shouldn't have been close, but then both Boston and Detroit's defense decided to make it close. Larkin had a goal and 2 assists. Adjusted, their penalty kill was 14 for 15 and 5 for 13 on the power play. Larkin is their top player with 3 goals and 3 assists. They are 30, 27, and 9. They have 69 points. That's 7th in the division.
Tied with Buffalo.
Yes.
With points-wise, anyway.
Florida, like I said, is surging. They went 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're 33, 27, and 7 with 73 points. That is only
3 points behind?
3 points out?
The Islanders? Yeah, 3 points back.
3 points out of the playoffs.
Game in hand.
Bobrovsky played all 4 games. A 4-1 win over Pittsburgh, where Barkov had 2 assists. 2-1 win over Vegas. Bobrovsky's their top player, kept them in that game. 4-3 overtime win against Chicago. Brandon Montour, goal and assist, including the game-winning goal. They outshot Chicago 43-24. And then a 4-5 overtime loss against Winnipeg, where they outshot Winnipeg 48-27.
48-27. Good lord.
Tkachuk had, in a game they lost, Tkachuk had 2 goals and an assist.
You're never not going to stop saying his name incorrectly.
I keep forgetting it at this point.
I don't think that's true. I think you're doing it on purpose. I have to think you're doing it on purpose.
Is it the T or the K that's silent?
It's the T. It's
Oh.
Tkachuk. Not only does he have a brother in the league, but he has a dad that is borderline a Hall of Famer.
I know.
I hate you sometimes.
Tkachuk.
This is why I keep making songs, just to make you mad, because you make me mad.
Tkachuk had 2 goals and 6 assists. He's their top player.
You have both Tkachuks.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
Every once in a while, I'll say Tkachuk. Tkachuk.
Roberto Lugano.
Yeah, I'm not even upset about that anymore. 5 for 16 on the power play, 14 for 18 on the penalty kill. 14 for 18, you could be better.
For 18, yeah, that's not. I mean,
But you went
that's almost 80%.
but that went 3-1.
Yeah, you can hand wave it away going 3-1.
Yep. But again, Tkachuk had 2 goals and 6 assists.
That's pretty good.
I hate him as a player.
He's one of those.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
But goddamn,
He plays
is he good?
He plays more like their dad.
Yeah.
Than Brady does. There was one point where the Penguins were talking to Calgary about trying to get him. I don't remember what the trade involved. It was like a high draft pick and some other player. It obviously didn't end up happening, but
Tom Wilson versus Matt Tkachuk. Let's go.
I don't remember if I said this last week, but Colby Armstrong, formerly of the Penguins, now on the NHL Network or TNT or wherever he is, tweeted out Tom Wilson to the Penguins last week during the trade deadline just to fuck with people. And I was like, there's no way.
No.
There's no way Washington would trade him to Pittsburgh.
No, not even a little bit.
I was like, I wouldn't be mad, but I don't think that would happen.
I'd be furious.
You would be furious, but I would not be mad, depending on what the trade was for. But yeah,
the only reason I'd be kind of okay if we got Jake Gensel.
No. Why would you get Jake Gensel in that trade? Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the only reason I'm okay.
You're not getting Jake Gensel.
Not getting
We took
Tom
him
Wilson.
we took him in the 5th round, and no one thought he was going to be good. And look at him, perennial 40-goal scorer.
You know what? A team who no one thought would be good but isn't is Montreal. 0-2-2.
That's true. They're living up to expectations.
0-2-2 this week. 26-34-6. That's 58 points. That is 8th in the division.
Woo!
There was a while where Montreal was only like 2 or 3 points back from the hunt.
Yeah.
And
now they were like, oh wait, we want the number 1 pick.
right.
Yeah.
They lost to Vegas to start the week, where Jake Allen kind of got shelled.
He's used to that.
Then they lost to Carolina in a shootout.
At this point, I wonder if Jake Allen likes it,
I don't know.
because he re-signed with Montreal and everything.
Right. Well, he keeps leaving for injuries, so maybe he just needs a mental break.
I think he's just a masochist.
He might be.
He's just like, yeah, shoot on me.
Pizzetta had a goal and assist.
Yeah, 50 shots.
In that Carolina shootout loss. Then they lost in a shootout to the Rangers. Caden Gooley's back, and he got in a goal and an assist.
Hey, look at him.
And then they lost to the Devils, like Bert mentioned. All but one of these games. There were no power plays in that Devils game.
Oh, that's
at
a
all.
weird game.
No power plays at all.
For either team.
And, yeah.
There was a play.
It's been like 2 decades since that's happened to the Devils.
Yeah, there was a playoff game not that long ago. I think it was a Penguins game. It might have been in the Stanley Cup, where 5 years ago or 6 years ago, whatever, where there was just no penalties called in that game.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think the Penguins ended up winning said game, And I remember seeing people bitch online. They were like, "Oh yeah, the Penguins didn't take any penalties in that game." I'm like, they didn't call any penalties on the other team either.
Right.
Like, it's not like. But yeah, that's a very rare game
Yeah.
where there's just no penalties
No
called at all.
penalties at all.
I would like to watch that game back and
And
pick
see
out every single time there
yeah.
should have been a penalty called.
I don't know if you mentioned that the Devils outshot Montreal 37-24.
I don't know if it doesn't matter. They did.
Alex Belzile,
Okay.
3 goals and an assist.
Who the hell is that guy?
I have no freaking
for him.
clue. It's like when Raphael Harvey Pinard came on the scene too. Like,
I love these guys playing for Montreal just being
excuse
like,
me?
who are you? Did you ever see the tweet that happened, again, as a Penguins fan? I'm always going to talk about the Penguins, but somebody tweeted out, they're like, you watch the Penguins play and they're like doing pretty good, and then you look at their lineup and it's like Evgeny Malkin playing with, it was Mark Donk and like some other random name. And like, you're like, who are those guys? But they each have 40 points.
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck?
Alex Belzile.
I just always remember Mark Donk. He's
a
not a
great
real
name.
player. Not a real player. Just something that person made up. But they're pretty on point. It's
a great
like,
name.
Sometimes you're like, who is that? Oh, he has 40 points.
Yeah, he had 3 goals and an assist. I couldn't not put him in. Like, what's going on?
Good for him. Wait, was that in one game?
No, that
He
was
had a hat trick?
No, no,
Just
that-
over the week.
over the week.
Okay. But it's still, that's a really good week.
point per game.
Yeah.
I have no idea who
Really
you are.
good week for a dude that I've never heard of before. What was his name one more time?
Alex Belzile.
Good for you. Shout out Alex.
Belzile.
That's a pretty sick name
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
I hope you turn into a star.
Same with Raphael Harvey Pinard.
You too. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
you also turn into a star.
Look, if
I know you're listening.
Yeah, of course.
I know you are. We have those big numbers in Montreal. You guys are part of it. We don't have that.
The real French fan base we got.
Bonjour. Right?
S'il vous plaît.
Right? We have one friend from France.
Voulez-vous?
She'd probably yell at us
Coucher.
if she heard us right
Ce
now.
soir.
Lucky for us, she does not care about hockey.
All right, Ottawa's up next, 2-3 on this week. This is not good for them either, because while they were surging, they are now 6 points off of the wild card spot. But
Still not that far back. I think they have games in hand on the Islanders.
the problem is Talbot is hurt.
That does not help.
Talbot,
They do have 2 games in hand on the Islanders.
Talbot is in net for their 5-2 win
That baby
against
downstairs
Columbus.
is upset too.
Yeah, they do. She got pipes.
She does. Not as big of pipes as her brother, who I swear to God cries all the time.
Just flinch at, like, just step
Sorry,
to.
I'm just talking about my life right now. Just step to him.
Like just a real quick like fake out, and then he's just cries.
That's what the baby's doing. Just like, what, bitch? She's 1 and he's 5. And she's just like, what? She's bullying him. That's so funny to think about, that the baby is bullying her older brother.
Tim Stützle had 2 goals in that
Oh, that's good.
win against Columbus. They outshot Columbus.
Stutzla.
They outshot Columbus 39-21.
There's a lot of good younger German players.
Yeah.
Stutzla, Cedar. I mean, Dreisaitl's not young, but still.
Right.
He's not old either.
Same with Grubauer.
Yeah, Grubauer too, yeah. Good.
Is Dreiger German?
I don't think so. I think he's Canadian.
Okay. I don't remember. I just remember.
But still, like, that's 4 pretty good German players where, like, Germany hasn't really produced a really good player.
not at all.
No offense. But, like, hockey's not
their thing.
a big thing in Germany. I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right. And then they got shut out by Chicago, 0-5.
Yeah.
But Cam Talbot,
Pretty shameful.
Cam Talbot didn't say he couldn't go until like right before that game.
That does not help.
No. So you got your backup coming in kind of
Well,
cold.
that's one of those things, like, did he say he couldn't go, or was the team like, you shouldn't be playing? Because that happened to Tristan Jarry earlier
That
this year,
happens
too,
yes.
where they were like, you're way more injured than you said you are.
Right. So Sogard comes in pretty cold,
Yeah, he didn't know he was going to play.
and then they let in 5 goals.
He's also young too.
while they outshot Chicago 35-21.
A veteran goalie might be able to make up for coming
Yes.
in cold, but Mads Sogard, who is like 21 or something, I don't know how old he is, but he's young.
He bounced back played in the 5-4 win against Seattle.
There you go.
He bounced back there.
There you go.
But they blew the game against Vancouver 2-5.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Calgary 1-5 with Mandalise in net.
Yeah. You can't. Those are a couple of games that you should not be losing
Right. And
if you're trying to make the playoffs.
what doesn't help is they, haven't scored a power play in, I believe, 20-some power plays. 21, 23.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Adjusted, they were -3 for 17.
-3.
-3.
Oh my god.
A shorthanded goal against Seattle.
3 shorthanded goals this week.
In 3 games straight.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay. It's not.
That's up there. That's impressive. Vancouver's had, what was it, 4 shorthanded goals? It's kind of like impressive that they had 3 shorthanded goals against this week.
Yeah.
Too. Ay.
Chychrun had a goal and assist in the Seattle win.
Hey, look at him.
And then adjusted, they were 15 for 17 on the penalty kill, so not bad.
He's had a lot of points since going over to Ottawa,
Yes,
I think.
Chychrun's been not bad at all.
Which, once again, makes me very mad as a Penguins fan.
Stützle, 3 goals, 4 assists.
Pretty good.
So, problem is Cam Talbot is out for 3 weeks.
Ooh.
So that's 1 week
Oh.
already.
Yeah.
And they went 1-3.
Bad.
That's not good for their playoff hopes.
That reminded me of something I forgot to mention / write down. Nick Bonino for the Penguins, one of their trade deadline acquisitions, is out week to week with a lacerated kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
What else isn't good is Tampa Bay's play right now.
Yeah, they haven't been good the last couple of weeks.
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Kind of fallen off the wagon. 2-3-1 this week. 39-22.
They played 6 games.
Yes, they did.
Wow. I know we're adding in a couple extra days, but damn.
Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
and then a 4-game week. Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow, they had 3 back-to-backs this week?
No, Tuesday, Thursday. My bad.
Oh, okay.
They had a couple games.
That's still rough, though.
Yes.
That's still rough.
This
This is where the schedule starts to get kind of crunchy.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're 39-22-6. That's 84 points. That's third. They start by losing to Buffalo, like I mentioned. Elliott was in net. Alex Killorn had 2 goals in this game.
Look at him. Wow.
Then they got shut out by Carolina,
Yep.
which you don't get a top player there. Vasilevsky's in net for all 6 goals there. 1 for 5 on that penalty kill.
Yeah, they got smacked in that game.
Yeah.
1 for 5 on the penalty kill?
Yeah, Carolina was.
Oh, I missed that
4
for
for
Carolina.
5
My
on the
bad.
power play.
My bad. I missed that. God damn, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, only 2 of those goals were even strength.
What?
Yeah. You lost 6-0.
Yeah.
You only gave up 2 even
Oh,
strength goals.
I see what you're saying.
You only gave up 2 even strength goals.
God.
So yeah, that was a bad game.
baby. Toronto might beat them in the first round.
Yeah,
They keep playing
if they
like
keep
this
playing
shit.
like this.
Yeah.
Then they beat Philadelphia 5-2, like you mentioned.
Yes, they should.
Vasilevsky had a bounce back game there. Killorn had 2 goals and assist. Then they lost to Vegas in overtime. They outshot Vegas 37-21.
Wow.
So Tampa gave up 4 goals on 21 shots. Not good for Vasilevsky in net right there. They also gave up a shorthanded goal.
Vasilevsky washed? ...
Braden Point had 2 goals and an assist in that game. Beat Chicago like they should.
Yeah.
Brian Elliott's not going to stop you there.
At least they beat Chicago and Philly.
Yeah,
At least they
that's
didn't
really
drop
it.
games to them.
Elliott was in net there. Braden Point had 2 goals in that game, and they outshot Chicago 37-23. Then they finished by losing to Winnipeg. They outshot Winnipeg 35-22.
Yep.
So you gave up 3 goals on 22 shots. Their power play adjusted was 4 for 22.
Ugh.
Yeah, 22.
Oh my god. Yeesh.
Non-adjusted let's do unadjusted penalty kill.
Okay.
11 for 19.
Ugh. Well, I mean, that Carolina game does not help.
No, not at all. But
But god damn.
they gave up they were 1 for 2 against Vegas, 1 for 2 against Winnipeg. They did get a shorthanded goal in the Winnipeg game. And then 3 for 5 against Buffalo, but they got a shorthanded goal there. So
Boy, that benching of the Stamkos Point Kucherov
yeah, was
didn't
kind of
help. Didn't help.
but still kind of deserved.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't deserved, but like didn't help. Didn't help.
Sorelli, a goal and assist. I mean, they did immediately beat Philadelphia because he got benched. They got benched.
That's not an accomplishment, though.
Right, that's true.
Philly's not good this year.
Kucherov is their top player this week. He got 8 points with 3 goals and 5 assists, but Alex Killorn had 7 points. I forgot the breakdown. I believe
that's really good for Alex Killorn.
I believe he
honestly.
had 4 goals and 3 assists.
He's not usually a point per game player. Right. Tampa Bay's got to figure out what the hell's going on.
Figure that out fast.
Yeah, 4 losses this past
You do
week.
not want to be going into the playoffs cold.
No.
Especially this playoff.
Let's be real. If any team could overcome it, it is Tampa Bay. They have made 3 straight Stanley Cup finals.
Let's also be real. They've made 3 straight Stanley Cup finals.
They're probably tired. Yeah, they're probably exhausted.
All right, I'm going to finish up. We got Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Only played 3 games.
That's crazy.
2-1. 40, 17, and 8. They have 88 points. They're in second.
They're catching up Boston.
They're
only what, 17 points behind.
Right. After the embarrassing loss against Vancouver, where again they let up 2 shorthanded goals in 1 power play.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's funny to me.
They beat New Jersey and Edmonton.
They did. Two very respectful wins.
And again, they scored, I believe, 4 goals in the second period against Edmonton. They kind of like blew them out the water. Damn it. It doesn't matter.
What?
They beat the Devils 4-3, like you said, and then they.
Do you need me to look something up for them?
Not a huge deal.
Okay.
And then 7-4 against Edmonton. Mitch Marner had a goal and 3 assists. He baited multiple players into turnovers, and then one got the goal.
Mitch Marner is a very, very good player. He's maybe underrated, honestly.
Yeah, he deserves that contract.
He's very, what's the word, cerebral player? Yeah.
Basically, for the goal he scored against Edmonton, he snagged a cross-ice pass in front of the goalie and juked out the goalie basically in the space of a phone booth. Which I know
that's impressive.
Not a lot of you young people will know what a phone booth is.
You say that like we're so old.
I know.
We're 32 and 31, respectively.
And then
who's older? Guess.
I mean,
it's me.
I have a very high-pitched voice. It doesn't help me. And then they
we were born in the same year.
But then they he picked someone else's pocket and set up a Nylander's goal.
Yeah.
So that was one of the assists.
I mean, to be fair, the stick checking in a phone booth is a phrase in hockey.
It is. I know it is, but still, it's getting antiquated.
Oh, you youngins out there, you shut up. You don't even know.
I would say their penalty kill or power play is 4 for 11, but adjusted it's 2 for 11.
Thanks, Vancouver.
And then adjusted, it's 8 for 10 for the penalty kill. So that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Marner's their top player with 2 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah.
So I have a lot more news with the Atlantic compared to the Pacific.
Ruthie's here.
Yep.
To give her thoughts on the Atlantic Division.
Boston. Lindholm is day-to-day with a foot injury. I believe he missed the last game, so we'll see how he is going forward.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's the glue that holds them all together. Comrie is week to week with Buffalo with a lower body. Dahlin is day-to-day. He missed the Rangers loss. And then Samuelson is also week to week with an upper body. He also missed the Rangers loss. So we'll see what happens with them going forward. For Detroit, Robbie Fabry is day-to-day with a lower body.
Okay.
Missed the last game. So, again, a lot of these, we'll see how they are going forward.
Yeah.
Montreal, Dvorak, and Harris are both day-to-day with lower bodies. Cam Talbot is week to week with a lower body for Ottawa. They did say for 3 weeks. That really hurts their chances.
Yeah, because now they got to roll with Matt Sogard and who else?
Mandalese.
Oh, yeah, Mandalese. So, like, 2 really young goalies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the Lightning, Bellemare is day-to-day for an undisclosed injury. And then Tampa Bay...
Sorry, that slapping is me slapping
Steven
my dog's belly.
Stamkos left the Winnipeg game early with a apparent leg injury.
Oh, that's so good.
Yes.
That man, anytime I hear a leg injury, he has broken both of his legs in his career.
Yes. Ugh. Still hear that crack.
I don't like to think about it. One of them was in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor man. I am happy that he has won it. Has won Stanley Cups at this point because he's a great player. He's broken both his legs
and femurs, not just his legs.
No, like really horrible breaks.
Braden Shen for Toronto has day-to-day for personal reasons. He might have had a kid born.
Oh, that's a good reason, at least.
Don't quote me on that one.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're gonna go with it and hope that it's a happy reason.
Lindholm for Calgary was out for a game because of a child being born. So that is a definite positive.
Actually, now that I think about it, for Pittsburgh, Brian Rust missed a game because he had a child born.
It's one of the reasons when people were talking about him getting traded, it was just
Stop copulating in the off season, hockey players. God.
Well, everyone gets married in the off season.
Stupid. It's dumb.
All of their weddings are in freaking August.
Why?
Who knows?
My mom texted me that Brian Rust was out for that reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, stupid Mrs. Rust having a baby.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week. Ryan O'Reilly got moved to the LTIR.
Oh, yes.
For a finger injury.
Yeah, broken finger? He had surgery.
Already had surgery. Yeah. He should be back for the playoffs.
His fingy.
Basically going to nip that in the bud and make sure he's good for the playoffs.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then Tavares, as you said, we got fined. $5,000 for slashing.
I mean, deserved fine.
And
but also that guy deserved to be slashed that hard.
Also, like, with D'Angelo spearing Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Corey Perry wasn't even doing anything.
No, he wasn't. D'Angelo just nailed him in the nuts.
It's like when Ovechkin, like, speared Trent Frederick. Like, Frederick cross-checked him, like, 3 times.
Yeah. Well, there's people that are like, oh, Crosby's a dirty player because he chopped off...
That was an incidental.
Yeah, he didn't mean to do that, but he chopped off that one guy's finger.
And it's like,
and it was like
Draisaitl. Like he gets his pocket picked and he spears a guy. Like there's plenty of times where he like gets frustrated and spears a guy. Ovechkin has speared Trent Frederick because he got 3 cross checks at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
He just turned and just speared him.
Yeah. A lot of the times, if you see a star player of any team do something fairly dirty, it's because they got cross-checked like 15 times in a row.
But this specific incident, D'Angelo just comes out of nowhere.
Corey Perry didn't do anything. And that's a lot saved for Corey Perry. And D'Angelo's just like, nut shot.
He just comes flying in, stabs him in the balls.
I love that. That's what spearing is.
Yeah.
That is what spearing
Yeah.
is essentially. That's
It's a nut
always
shot.
what they call it for. It's for a nut shot. So funny. All right. Let's finish things off with the Central Division. And ladies and gentlemen, here come the Arizona Coyotes.
Surging.
3-0-2 this week.
Woo!
5-game point streak right now.
Woo!
Well, I don't know. It might be more than that. I'm not sure. But 5-game point streak this week.
Woo!
Lost to the Devils 5-4 in overtime to begin it, where they were outshot 40-29.
Yep.
Jake McBain had a goal and an assist. Valimaki had 2 assists in this game. McBain. They then beat St. Louis 6-2.
Yeah.
St. Louis, come on, man. St. Louis outshot Arizona 42-27 in this game.
Jesus
They
Christ.
lost 6-2. Clayton Keller had a goal and 2 assists this week, and 5 other players on Arizona had 2 points.
Wow.
They beat Nashville 4-1, where they outshot Nashville 43-40.
Yeah.
I wrote that down because it was a lot of shots.
Yeah, it's a
That's the
lot
only
of shots,
reason
yeah.
I wrote it down. Keller, 2 assists in that game as well.
Yep.
They lost to Colorado 3-2 in overtime, where they were outshot 44-20. Connor Ingram tried his best, was 41 of 44.
He's been killing it.
He's been playing all right for them. They then beat Minnesota in overtime 5-4, where Clayton Keller had 2 goals and an assist, including the overtime game winner.
Wow.
Brett Hayden had 2 goals and 2 assists in this game. And the other Richie, Brett Ritchie, had a goal and 2 assists. So both Richies getting on the board for their respective teams after the trade.
We could be wrong, but just flip the first names because they got traded for each other.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're right, but who knows?
Who knows at this point?
Clayton Keller is their top player, and I believe the top scorer of the week.
He
with
was.
4 goals and 6 assists. Suck it, McDavid.
He got one of the top stars of the week.
Yeah, he did.
He
had 10 points this week.
Yeah.
Look at him. So yeah, good week by Arizona. Chicago is up next, and they did not. Sorry, that was loud. I have had 2 of these beers. Chicago did not have nearly as good a week as Arizona.
They had a Chicago week.
1-3-1.
Yeah, they had a Chicago week.
Losing to Nashville 3-1. Beating Ottawa weirdly 5-0.
Yep.
Where they were outshot 35-21 in that game. Anders Bjork, who they traded for at the trade deadline, had 3 assists in that game. While Seth Jones had 2 goals, and Stalock 35 saves for the shutout over Ottawa.
Good for him.
They lost to. Oh, sorry.
He's been, man. He missed a couple games for
Alex
illness.
Stalock.
Yeah.
He's played weirdly okay for Chicago this year.
He's
Yeah.
played pretty good, but
Yeah.
he keeps getting slightly injured. He keeps getting sick, so he keeps missing
The old Matt Murray way.
missed time.
Where he plays all right for a while and then is injured or sick or has a family tragedy.
Right.
And it's just, yeah.
And unlike the Matt Murray triangle, Stalock just comes back and plays like he was.
Plays all right. Yeah. Chicago then lost to Detroit, like Clay already mentioned, 4-3, where they were outshot 41-20 by Detroit. Hey, Taylor Radish scored both those goals
Good for him.
for Chicago. They lost to Florida 4-3 in overtime, where they were outshot 43-24, as
Yes.
Clay already mentioned. Huhar Karia, which I believe is how you say his name,
I believe that
had
is.
2 assists in that game, and they blew a 2-0 lead.
I'm glad he's playing, considering the back
Yeah,
and
he had
head injuries.
Yeah,
that
he had a
has
lot of
sustained.
concussion problems, so I'm glad he's playing too.
Was it last year where he looked like he could have died?
Yeah,
was that 2 years
he
ago?
missed the entire season last
Exactly.
year. So good. I'm glad you're healthy enough to play,
Yeah.
Mr. Korea. They lost Tampa Bay 3-1, where they were outshot 37-23.
Yeah.
Chicago, they don't have a top player.
Nope.
Colorado, 2-1
2-2-1.
this week. Not a great week for Colorado. Losing to Dallas 7-3. Dallas is looking really pretty good.
Which is hilarious because the past couple of weeks their offense just couldn't get going, and then
This week,
wow.
This week, We'll get to Dallas in a second. Losing 7-3 to Dallas did Colorado. Sam Girard had a goal and 2 assists in that game, while Alex Newhook had 2 assists. I had to remember his name there or his first name there for a second. A little bit. Yeah, tell me when I'm drunk. Colorado then lost to Seattle 3-2 in overtime, where they were outshot 35-23. They shut out San Jose 6-0.
Shark team bad.
Shark team is bad. That is true. Makar and Nichushkin each had a goal and 3 assists in this game. And this was after Cale Makar did an interview. Cale Makar, I believe, starting with the Dallas game, was back from his concussion protocol.
Yes.
And I kind of felt bad because he did an interview where he was like, yeah, I'm back and we lost 2 games in a row. Maybe it's my fault. And I was like, what the fuck? You're like the best young defenseman in the league.
Right.
Shut up.
What are you talking about?
I had 4 points in this game. McKinnon and Lankinen each had a goal and an assist in this game. And Georgiev made 13 saves for the shutout.
Yeah.
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 They lost to L.A. next 5-2.
It's like a Greenland shark or whatever type of shark. It's very slow moving, doesn't do much.
San Jose.
Yeah.
Their blood is poisonous, though.
Yes.
Their flesh, whatever.
Something like that.
Native tribes of the northern hemisphere have learned that, this is a fun fact for all of you, if you bury the flesh of Greenland sharks, you can get all of the toxins out of the flesh and then eat it. But it's like a year that you have to bury it for. It's because they have like something...
Is that lungfist?
No. That's something different. That's not Greenland shark.
Right.
It does have a name in like Iceland.
Yeah.
Iceland or other like Nordic places. I forget what it's called. But they have something in their blood that's analogous to antifreeze.
Right, which is really
that
cool.
you have to like pull out of their flesh before you can eat it. But hey, just a little fun fact from one guy who likes sharks to anybody else who likes sharks.
How do people figure that shit out?
It's because somebody is like, oh, I caught one, and then they eat it and they die.
Well, that's fair, but how do they figure out? Oh, you have to if you bury it for a
Somebody
year?
has to. I don't know. That's a good question. Well, it's like all in throughout humanity's history. They're like, how did you figure out that nightshade is poisonous?
Someone's got to die.
Somebody had to have died.
Well, like
don't eat nightshade.
Green potatoes, like unripe potatoes.
Yeah.
Poisonous.
Yep. Cooked potatoes, great.
Like
wonderful.
Even not like doesn't even have to be cooked as long as it's
ripe potatoes, great,
fine.
Wonderful.
People died.
People had to have died at some point to be like, oh, I think it was the potatoes.
Yeah.
Or I think it was the green or the sleeper shark's flesh that killed them. Or the nightshade or whatever, or that mushroom over there.
See, that mushroom's fine, but that mushroom
made Jack poop his brains out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's an odd. I know, right, lady that lives downstairs? It's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
It's like, how did people figure out that these things were poisonous? Oh, someone died.
Yeah.
Someone had to have died in history to figure that out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And they recorded it.
Somebody recorded it. Yeah. But like knowing humans, it was a lot of people.
Oh, it was a lot of people
who poisoned themselves.
Like, hey,
because like generally as a species, humans are really stupid.
It's like, hey, my buddy died eating that. Don't eat that. It's like, yeah, your buddy would
shut up.
Sucked.
Shut up, bro. And then they eat it
and they die. Yeah.
I told you.
Right.
My buddy Dave died eating that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Colorado lost to LA 5-2. They then beat Arizona 3-2 in overtime. Drunken tangents. Love them. Colorado outshot Arizona 44-20 in that game. McKinnon, a goal and an assist. Rantanen, 2 assists. And Cale Makar, the young man who was like, I'm bad now, had the overtime game winner in that game.
Right.
And guess what? He's their top player this week, too.
Well, it's because he sucks.
With 2 goals and 5 assists.
That's how you get that top
I was
player.
just like, what is this interview that he's like, oh, I came back and now we're bad. I'm like, shut up.
Your brain is still scrambled.
That's not funny, Clay.
He got a concussion, came back, and got concussed again. He might not even know where he is.
He still had 7 points this week.
He was talking about the 2 games in which he got injured.
Dallas is up next, going 3-1 this week, beating Colorado, as I just mentioned, 7-3. Where Robertson had 2 goals and an assist. Rope Hintz had 2 assists, and Joe Pavelski had a goal and an assist. They then lost to Calgary 5-4, where Jamie Benn had a goal and an assist. They then beat Buffalo 10-4.
10-4.
10-4. Jamie Benn and is it Mason Marchment?
Yes.
Yeah, had a goal and 2 assists each in that game. Robertson had 3 assists. Radek Faksa had 2 goals.
Chump couldn't even get a hat trick.
And 6 other players had 2 points in that game. And then they beat Seattle in overtime 4-3.
Yep.
Where Rope Hintz had a goal and an assist. And Miro Heiskanen had the overtime game winner plus an assist. Robertson is their top player with 3 goals and 4 assists on the week. Big week by Dallas there. Minnesota is up next, going 3-0-2. The same record as the Arizona Coyotes.
They've been going on a tear.
They have. The Coyotes. You're right.
Yes.
Minnesota started off their week by beating Calgary 3-0, where Matthew Boldy and Joel Eriksson Ek each had a goal and an assist, while Gustafsson made 31 saves for the shutout. And then they lost to Calgary in a shootout, 1-0.
That's hilarious that they played Calgary back
to back. Yeah.
Like Calgary had a game in the middle of that.
Oh, that's really funny, actually. They lost to Calgary 1-0 in a shootout where, once again, Gustafsson had another shutout. Technically, 26 saves in the shutout, but they did end up losing in a shootout, but it still counts.
Still counts.
Minnesota then beat Winnipeg 4-2, where they were outshot 48-23.
Wow.
In that game and ended up winning.
Wow.
Marcus Foligno had a goal and an assist for Minnesota, while Sundqvist and Middleton each had 2 assists in that game. Moving on, they beat San Jose 5-2, where Boldy, Johansson, and Jared Spurgeon each had a goal and an assist, while Klingberg and Hartman each had 2 assists.
Wow.
Look at them. Their trade deadline acquisitions paying dividends so far with Sundqvist, Johansson, and Klingberg. Or Johansson, depending on which year it is.
It depends on what year.
And then they lost to Arizona 5-4 in overtime. But Mason Shaw had 2 assists in that game, while DeWar and Reeves each had a goal and an assist.
Did you see the fight between
the worst fight that has happened in many years between Reeves and is it Boko Imam?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something. Around there.
We say the worst fight because they just squared off and didn't really do
kind
it.
of like slap fought at each other
They
a little bit.
They didn't even really engage from what I saw. So
it reminds me of the fight with I don't remember who it was, but Georges Larac was on the Penguins and he fought someone. I don't remember who it was, but it was the exact same thing where they just kind of circled each other for a while. And then the rest were just like, all right, this is just stupid.
Delay of
this
game.
is just dumb at this point. You guys are, all right, we're done. Philip Gustafsson is their top player, going 1-0-2, but he had a 159 goals against, a 938 save percentage, and 2 shutouts.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Nashville is up next, going 3-1-1. Nashville forgetting that they sold at the deadline.
And that their best players are hurt.
It's just winning games. Beating Chicago, as they should, really. They're better team than Chicago. 3-1. Trennan had 2 assists in that game. They lost to Vancouver in a shootout 4-3.
Right.
Oh, boy, I forgot I wrote down this name. Evangelista.
I don't know.
Yeah, had 2 goals for Nashville in this game, while Lawson had 2 assists in this game.
Ooh.
They lost to Arizona 4-1.
Yep.
They then beat LA 2-1 in a shootout where Duchesne had the only shootout goal
Yes.
between the two teams. And then they beat Anaheim 5-4 in overtime,
Wow.
where Thomas Novak had 2 goals and an assist.
Yeah.
How did he not get more money on the
I don't
extension
know.
that he signed? Because he has been balls to the wall since signing that
I
extension.
know, like Novechkin. There's been so many
Yeah.
like good
Yeah,
nicknames.
he has scored at least a dozen points since signing that extension.
Scoreback.
Score back. Tomasino also had a goal and an assist in that game, while Seasons had 2 assists. They didn't really have a standout. Much like the Rangers, they were kind of spread out with their scoring. But, Evangelista. That's his last name.
Yeah.
His first name is not Evan. It's Evangelista is his last name, I think. Moving on to St. Louis, they went 2-3 this week, losing to LA 4-2, losing to Arizona 6-2. Hey, Buchnevich scored both those goals. Beating San Jose 4-2, where Thomas had a goal and an assist, and Buchnevich had 2 assists.
Buchnevich guy is pretty good.
He's pretty good.
You want to hold on to him.
Beating Columbus 5-2. Yeah, right. Beating Columbus 5-2, where Kyrou had a hat trick. Sammy Blais, who I guess needs to be on St. Louis to score, had a goal and 2 assists, and Robert Thomas had 2 assists, and Brennan Saad had a goal and an assist.
You had Blais and Buchnevich, and now you have neither.
Maybe you just keep Buchnevich. I'm just saying the same thing I said a couple weeks ago. Maybe you just keep Buchnevich.
I was saying that when he got traded.
Yeah, right. And then St. Louis, lost to Vegas 5-3. Jordan Kyrou had a goal and an assist in that game. Thomas, Kyrou, and Buchnevich each had 7 points this week.
Crazy.
They have one really good line, and then the rest of the Blues.
And then they have the Blues.
And then the Blues. Yeah. Winnipeg, finishing off for the Central Division, went 3-1 this week.
Those aren't symptoms of depression. They are Blues Clues.
Shut up.
There we are.
They beat Edmonton 7-5 to begin their week, where Morrissey had 2 goals and an assist. Barron, Scheifele, and DeMello each had a goal and an assist in that game.
Ooh.
They then lost to San Jose shamefully in
Yep.
overtime, 3-2, where they outshot San Jose by quite a large margin,
Yes, they
38-24.
Don't matter if you don't put it in the net.
That's a good point. That is a good point. They also lost to Minnesota 4-2. Hey, but then they beat Florida 5-4 in overtime, where they were outshot 48-27.
Yeah.
Nemestikov, 2 goals and an assist. Connor, 3 assists. Ehlers, a goal and 2 assists. Scheifele, 2 goals, including the overtime game winner.
Right.
And then they beat Tampa Bay 3-2, where Connor Hellebuck was 33 of 35.
Wow.
Yeah. Kyle Connor is their top player with, 6 assists. Now, a couple news notes to finish us off here. Kirill Kaprizov is out 3 to 4 weeks with a lower body injury. I don't remember who.
Staylock.
Was it Staylock?
Staylock.
Are you sure?
Nope. It was who? Stanley? Who's the guy on Winnipeg?
Oh, Logan Stanley. That would
Stanley.
make sense.
It was Stanley. My bad. We were talking about Staylock
It was kind
earlier.
of a weird play, but Stanley essentially landed on top of Kaprizov and forced him into a split, which makes me think that it's probably a groin injury.
Yep.
I watched the highlight and I was like, ugh,
I don't like that.
That's not good.
That hurts everything
He
around
just
me.
put all that weight on his 2 legs split across the ice, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that had to have hurt.
Well, also, imagine one of those skate blades catching. That's just...
Thankfully, I don't think that happened, but so he's out 3 to 4 weeks with a lower body injury. I would guess it's probably a groin injury.
Yep.
Let's see. Nashville re-signed Mark Jankowski to a 1-year, $775K extension.
Good.
And one last kind of overall point is that I saw a couple of talking heads, Kevin Weeks included, being like, "Ooh, look out for expansion for the NHL." and they mentioned Houston and Atlanta, and that's insane that they would expand again. And Daly, the assistant commissioner of the NHL, threw cold water on that and was like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're not expanding anytime soon."
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if Kevin Weeks and it was somebody from ESPN were like really just trying to will this to happen.
It might
But
be
they
from
said
someone
something
from
about the
ESPN.
Thrashers. They said something about Houston, and it was just like.
No.
And I saw somebody that lives a hockey fan in Atlanta was like, "There's nobody's even talking about
No,
that."
no one's
here."
talking
Yeah.
about that.
So I don't know. I don't know what Weeks and was it Buccigross maybe from ESPN? I don't know. Somebody. I don't know what they were talking about. I don't know if they were just like, "We need more teams."
We don't.
We don't.
don't.
32 is the perfect amount.
Yeah.
The conferences are
Even?
even and equal, so we don't need two more teams because it would not make any sense.
And people talk about it's like, oh, you'll dilute the talent pool.
That's fair.
The talent pool's kind of been diluted.
Yeah. It has been.
Scoring's up, and it's a lot more fun to watch.
That's true. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of guys in the league that are like playing with chips on their shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, that's fun to watch
It
too, because
is,
they're
yeah.
like, I'm going to score 20 goals just to spite that other team.
Right, 100%. And
I love shit like that.
the only like actual issue where I can see dilution being a problem is goalies. Because
I don't even know.
goalies are not coming up like they used to.
I don't know. I still think that they're. No, I guess you're right to a certain extent. There's enough goalies that I think can man 32 to plus teams.
I just think the quality of goalie is going to decline. There will still be a couple of elite guys, a couple of very good guys, a couple of good guys, like solid guys, but there will be more below average, like
Yeah. Well, and it's so easy to blame the goalie in hockey too. It's just like in football, it's so easy to blame the quarterback.
well,
You know.
for this specific position, it's super fucking expensive to get into.
Oh, absolutely.
Goalie
yeah.
pads are like grands.
Yeah,
like,
they're a lot.
So, and then just like
Yeah,
the mental games, you're just getting shelled. Like there's
Well,
so
like
many things that come on top.
In his early days, the Penguins almost ruined Marc-Andre Fleury because they called him up too soon and he got shelled in a really bad
You
Penguins
have
team.
to be one of the best skaters on your team. Like
Yeah.
goalie skate, like, and just injuries are a huge deal.
Bring in sumo wrestlers to play goalie. Just big fat guys, just to be like, try to score on me. I'm so fat.
Problem is, I think they did that. They put a walrus in net.
Oh man. So there doesn't seem to be any
Oh no.
substantial actual claims to expansion. So which honestly is fine with me. I think 32 is good. They just expanded twice in the last 5 years. They don't need to do it again for a while.
No.
And it equaled out the two conferences. So
Because any new expansion or any move,
even if it's 1-1, even if it's one in the
Conferences
East, one in the
are
West,
getting-
it's like it's gonna be weird.
if
you know?
someone moves, conferences
Divisions are
getting-
going to start to be weird because if they only add two teams, then one division in each conference is going to have one more team than the other division, which is already like not really fair.
You're already playing 82 games. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, and don't have to add more games to that like that.
No.
So
Well, that's our week.
that's our week. Yeah. So those 11% beers. I drank two of them. In case you guys didn't notice. They're very good. This
I'm gonna
beer
take
is
this one
really,
home. This
really
is
good.
Yum.
Backwoods Bastards from Founders. If you guys see it, get it. That's a good ass beer.
I always like Founders. Founders.
Very easy to drink. Real dangerous for 11%.
Uh-huh.
Because usually if you get 11% beer, you're like, oh, okay, I
feel
can
this
taste
11,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I could taste that 11%.
I
Not
hear-
this beer. This it's shockingly easy to drink.
So there's been a couple beers that were like that for me. So unfortunately, neither of them exist, which makes me sad.
Anymore. Yeah.
Heavy Seas had a Pilsner that was like,
Mm-hmm.
they had a Pilsner that was almost 8%. It was like the same as like an IPA.
And a Pilsner at 8%?
Yeah, and you could not taste that alcohol.
Damn.
And it was one of my favorite beers because, again, it's like 7.8, 7.6. You just knock that back like nothing. And then the Lagunitas made a beer with brown sugar that was 10%, and you had no idea.
Those are the most dangerous beers that are like, this is 10%. I just drank 4 of these.
And I am on my butt.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is good. This is up there with, did you ever have Dragon's Milk?
I haven't.
From, I forget.
That's not Lord Hobo, but
New Holland?
I
Brewing Company?
I think so.
Something like that. Dragon's Milk is similar to this, where it's like, it's pretty easy to drink. It's a dark beer.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's technically a stout or a porter, but it's fairly easy to drink, but it's 14%.
Oof.
It's much more expensive than this beer, I will say. This beer is shockingly cheap. But good, though.
Yeah, yummy.
Thank you guys for listening. As always, we can be found wherever podcasts are found. Give us a rate, review, subscribe wherever applicable. And we will see you next week for week 23.
Yes, week 23.
We are getting ever closer to the playoffs.
We got like 4 more weeks of
We
regular
have
season.
15 to 18 games left for most teams. So that's 4 or 5 more weeks, and then we're into the playoffs, baby.
Playoffs, baby.
And then I have to pull my bedroom TV out to the living room so I can watch multiple games at a time, like I did last year.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see you next week at the same puck time.
Same puck place.
Bye bye.